2nd Streets. When the space opens this fall, it will be home to the seasonal Land of Goshen Community Market once again. Beyond the market, it will be open to the public daily and for special events. Sobe Bay, KTRS News.
And a decision could be made tonight over 2 data center projects in Franklin County. The county's Planning and Zoning Commission is expected to issue a recommendation on whether to approve or deny the request for both projects. Tonight's meeting is scheduled for 7 o'clock. This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist. This week is Professional Administrators Week. Walter Knoll Florist makes it easy to say thanks with flowers. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. The Illinois Department of Revenue has been recognized by Mental Health America as a recipient of the Bell Seal for Workplace Mental Health, marking the 2nd year that the department has earned this national distinction, recognizing employers that are committed to creating and sustaining mentally healthy workplaces. Now the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune into Straight Talk and Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. At close, the Dow down 292 points at 49,149, NASDAQ down 144 at 24,259, and the S&P 500 down 45 at 7,064. Now let's check in with Paul for KTRS Sports and Traffic.
Steve, the Cardinals play Miami again tonight in South Florida after having their 5-game winning streak snapped with a 5-3 loss to the Marlins last night. Redbird hitters struck out 13 times in defeat. And you won't get to see a familiar face when the Mariners come to St. Louis on Friday night. The former Cardinal Brendan Donovan has gone on the injured list with a groin injury. Donovan was off to a good start, hitting .300 with 3 home runs for Seattle. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. There's a crash on 44 East before 141 with a bumper-to-bumper back up past Antire. 64 East is jammed from 14th Street to the Poplar Street Bridge, where there's road work with lane closures from the bridge to Barack Obama Boulevard. And the signals are on flash at Tesson Ferry and Music Green Park. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our forecast calls for mostly clear skies tonight and overnight low in the upper 50s. Sunny tomorrow with an afternoon high around 80. At 9 minutes past 3 o'clock, sunny skies, 80 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
What have we learned about Heidi?
But cockroaches were the least of her problems. Heidi had to fight for every opportunity.
You know, Heidi is, even though she's very kind of sweet and innocent,
Heidi wanted out of the slum, and her agent wasn't doing enough.
Oh my God, they moved Heidi right next to me now.
Although Heidi seems serene,
she's a bit naughty.
she uses an ancient folk remedy to help calm her down.
Heidi is back.
It is another beautiful day. I'm not going to lie. Hard to come into the studio when it's like this. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Heidi Glaus here with Bob Ramsey, Josh Gilbert, and we've got a lot to get to. Last week or the week before, my sister texted me and said, I'm seeing that there's a helium shortage. Is this a joke or is this real? And I immediately thought of helium balloons. And then I started to go on this kind of deep dive about how many different things helium is needed for. And it is really kind of shocking, especially technology, MRI machines. And because of the war, there could be a shortage of helium. So we're going to talk to the president and founder of Kornblue Helium Consulting. Where does helium come from? What else is it used for? It's not just to raise our voices, I should say. So, or is that lower? It is raise. That's coming up at 3:30. In the 4 o'clock, we'll check in with Erik Siemers, editor of St. Louis Business Journal, and there are several stories that I want to ask him about. One, an alderman had kind of pitched an idea that was supposed to help food trucks, I guess, around Busch stadiums. Well, the Cardinals kind of objected. And so that plan is put on hold. We'll find out what the objection is all about. We'll check in on the construction happening at the Galleria because Dick's House of Sport is going in, and we'll find out what exactly that is and when it will open. Tegna and Nexstar were supposed to be merging, and to make that a little more local for you, Nexstar owns Channel 2, Tegna owns Channel 5. A judge has blocked the merger, so what does that mean for our two local TV stations as far as that goes? City is proposing a multi-year water rate hike. I want to know a little bit more about that. So all of those stories coming up in the 4 o'clock. We'll also lighten things up with Laura Ray, who is doing the 13th annual Mama Said this Saturday. That's where they put this fantastic show together that even PBS has picked up now. Some local people who have, bared their own soul, shared their story about a mothering figure, if not their own mother. So she'll tell us what's planned for this weekend. We'll also check in with the St. Louis County Prosecutor, Melissa Price-Smith, and talk about new traffic infraction diversion program, what exactly that means, and what else is going on in that area of law. We've got some entertainment news, and then we'll wrap this show up with some randoms. Is it hard for you guys to come in when it's this pretty outside? Don't you wish we could just kind of take our headphones and sit out here on the AstroTurf at Westport?
Why don't we?
What? I don't know. Why
don't
don't
we
we?
do a remote out there?
I would love to.
Remember when we were kids and we always asked the teacher if we could do class outside today? And they always said no.
Josh, not you again.
Yeah.
Turn in your homework.
Well, I'll go outside and we'll just open the windows and I'll listen in.
Seriously, why don't we do the show out there on the AstroTurf?
Well, it takes a lot of equipment.
Oh, stop.
Really long cables. Yesterday, I had some work people over, and I kind of took a half day.
You mean like work people? You invited friends over from
No.
work? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me and McGraw and
Well, wasn't sure what we were saying.
You meant workers.
Captain
Okay.
Paul. Workers were at the house.
Got it.
And I kind of took a half day and stayed home to make sure that they got everything done and got paid. And while they were working, I went out in the yard and I mowed the lawn and I did some stuff and trimmed some stuff back and I went for a bike ride. It was great. I want to do a half day every day.
A lot of people would like to.
Yeah, I just texted my wife. I got to cut the grass when I get home.
I was stunned at how many people were out doing yard work, and a lot of it looked like they were hired, lawn people. You hire somebody to do your lawn. But I was stunned to see how many people were out and about in my neighborhood yesterday.
That's what the weather does. It's great.
Yeah,
But
it's always that way at Lafayette Square.
During work hours.
Well, your work hours are not everybody's work hours.
I know, but every time I go out on my lunch break to run up to the CVS or the Walgreens or run an errand, I look around and I say, who are all these people?
People who live in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, a lot of people are in sales. They're traveling from one place to another to do a deal. You got lots of people who don't work 9 to 5 and they're either getting off or they're starting their day. I mean, there's a lot of different schedules out there. It's not just the 9 to 5.
Did you ever work did you ever do shift work?
No, not like regularly. I mean, I worked at a restaurant.
So that's like a second shift, right?
It's like, nighttime work. I guess that counts, right? I get off at 10.
And you
that
go in at
counts.
3 or 4.
Going at 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that
It's
counts.
like a second
right?
shift. Yeah, I did that when I worked in the warehouse, Paramount Liquor Warehouse. Sometimes daytime. That actually was a little more boring. But the the overnight, which will eventually kill you.
Oh, yeah.
But it was more enjoyable work. There was always stuff to do, getting trucks loaded and that sort of thing. But it's hard on the body.
It's hard on your body. You got to really
Yeah.
get into a kind of rhythm with it, and that's hard to do on the weekends because you want to see friends and have some fun. But if you don't stay on that schedule, it really messes with you.
Yeah.
You're constantly catching up as far as that goes.
And as you mentioned, Heidi, the social aspect of working a
hard.
shift like that.
The social aspect, you're eating at different times. I mean, back when I was doing early mornings, I was in at 4 a.m. Well, you're eating your, breakfast. You're having coffee at 4 a.m. And then all of a sudden by 10 a.m., you're eating your lunch. Then you're eating your I mean, it throws everything off
Yeah.
as far as that goes.
And the social aspect, you're right. In my previous business and your previous business, Heidi, the TV thing. Now, you were morning, but most people who do news, it's the 5, 6, and
Yeah.
10. And if you're lucky, you get out the door at 10:35.
Right. Usually it's 11.
But if you're single and you're, especially if you're a weekend guy or a gal, it's hard on the social life. Who wants to go out with somebody on Monday or Tuesday
No.
and then not see them again for a week?
Yeah, it's really hard. And, that's what I would say the benefits and disadvantages of that morning evening. If you're also an evening anchor, you're not going to any ball
gotta be in
games. You're
bed
not
by
going
9.
to all of it. You're still missing everything. Your kids' games. You're not going to any concerts. It's a lot of sacrifices.
It's a 9 to 5 world.
It really is.
And I told you a couple of weeks ago when I worked at a restaurant, all my friends became restaurant people. We were the
It's a
only
cult.
ones that were up at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
It's a cult.
That was happy hour.
Yeah, you guys are all hanging out together.
Hey, the industry.
Right.
That's what we call it.
Right.
Well, I do think you start to then spend more time with the people that are also
Awake.
off or doing other things. You just kind of have to, unless you're just going to be playing video games alone the
If I-
entire night.
Work the overnight shift. Am I sending funny memes to my friends at 2:00 in the
Not
morning?
if you want them to still
you
be
guys-
your friend.
You
Not
guys
if
see
you were
this
doing
one?
it.
No.
Not if you're doing it in 1980.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not going to be answered
Yeah. Okay.
as far as that goes.
Can I yell at them for
No,
texting at
how
2:00
many-
in the afternoon?
How many people you text and go, "You up?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I am now.
I'm not up.
Yeah. So did you see this bride is going viral for sharing a story about how her aunt and uncle wouldn't go to a wedding because the men were asked to wear a tie?
What?
Yeah.
What are we, farmers?
Well, sometimes they said we've seen plenty of stories, people going crazy about certain wedding demands. But this one, she shared in a text, we will not be there. Sorry, way too much. The bride responded with a link that said, I found this for $6.99 online. Will you really not come because you're being asked to wear a tie? And the aunt said, that's right. This is the United States of America, not Princess Land.
Oh, wow.
Gosh, show some respect.
Like a first aunt?
It just says aunt. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
But it is. I think that weddings and the entire kind of dress code can get a little much. Like if it's black tie and it's, depending on. But a tie does not seem like we're going too far. It's not even coat and tie, just a tie.
So in this case, it sounds like the aunt has experienced other wedding asks in the past.
Or maybe looking for an excuse.
Or looking for an excuse, and this one must be the straw.
Yeah.
Because asking someone to wear a necktie to a wedding,
Look, Eb.
I can't imagine.
Look, Eb. I know you don't wear a tie all the time when you're going into Pixley or Crabwell Corners to pick up the feed. But
No offense.
It's a wedding. Show some respect. Put on a tie.
Do you wear a tie to every wedding?
That's the dumbest question I've ever heard.
Okay, all right.
Of course you do.
I do think it's a little.
Unless it's a beach thing. I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
Heidi. There are kind of destination things or theme weddings now. The bridezillas come over. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, of course you wear a suit and a tie.
I think it is different for different places. I will say, growing up in small town America, I always dress up for a funeral or visitation.
Yes,
there
you
have
do.
been times where people will come in wearing jeans or less than, and sometimes I just think it's par for the course, and that's the way that they are
live.
used to dressing and live. And so as long as people show up as far as that goes, it's not a big thing. But I'm thinking, as a woman, the things that we have to wear, from corsets to bras to everything else, like, you can put on a tie is what I'm thinking. But
Do we go back to my federal law that I'm trying to get enacted that all women must wear heels all the time?
yeah, right?
Good luck
Yeah.
with that.
I bet I can get half the country to vote yes. And by the way, I love farmers. That's a bit from the show 30 Rock.
Because there are a couple people saying farmers wear ties. Many farmers have more money investments than many city people.
It was a joke. It's from 30 Rock, where Alec Baldwin is wearing a tuxedo like at 6 o'clock, and Liz comes in and says, "What you wearing a tux? 6 o'clock?" He goes, "What are we, farmers?"
Yeah.
So it was a bit. I know everybody doesn't get or have seen all the things that I see and have crammed into my little brain. It was a joke.
So are we supposed to be outraged that the ask was put out there, or are we supposed to be outraged at the ant for saying this is America? She didn't need to invoke "this is America" in the response.
I think it's up for debate because you could be on either side of it. I mean, as far as the dress codes all around, depending on where you are and what you're doing, do you want to be told what to wear? And it is your choice then not to go if you don't want to wear what is being asked of you.
Well, I think what Josh is saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Not that, if you don't want to wear a tie, don't go. But to invoke America, this is America, and you're a communist for lighten up.
Our forefathers fought and died
So
for
I
my
don't
right
have to wear a tie.
to go tieless to any wedding I please.
Okay, no tie, but a powdered wig, please.
Well, okay, so let's go back. When did we start not dressing up for ball games? If you look back at the
Oh, my
black and white,
gosh.
you have hats and ties, and the women are in dresses.
60s.
And what led to that?
Hippies.
Is that simply as it is? It takes a group of people that then just you start showing up dressed one way, and slowly it all changes.
It erodes.
Cultural dressing down of America. When did that happen? In the
60s.
In the 60s?
Yeah.
With the bra burnings and the far out, no shoes
jeans,
hippies and
The
all
jeans,
that stuff.
the hair.
Oh, why you look at me when you said the hair? I look at a wedding as an opportunity to wear a tie.
Well, you're kind of a fancy guy.
But I never wear a tie. I have no occasions to wear a tie except for weddings, funerals, and even at funerals, I don't necessarily even put a tie on. But I look forward to dressing up because I don't get to do it. But if I had some sort of, I would say, office jobs don't even wear ties.
Not very often anymore.
Well, it depends on certain things. I know if Marcia has certain meetings. I mean, like
puts
a
a
lot
tie
of
up.
things. Yeah, she does have a tie, actually. Yeah. I mean, women can wear bow ties and different things as well. But it's same thing here. If we have a sales meeting or if you're going to meet with certain people, you might dress up for the occasion and not dress like you do every day, depending
Josh.
on. Yeah.
Stop looking at me when you say that.
Ripped jeans. Why does everyone wear ripped jeans to wedding, showers, baptism?
No one knows how to sew.
That is part of it, I think.
I think the ripped jeans for women
It's on purpose.
is a fashion thing now.
No, it is. And
That's
men.
fashionable.
Men and women.
Well, I think sometimes it goes in and out. Of
Right.
as far as ripped
the hole in the jeans.
Yeah, go. Some of them, yes. Somebody said, can I call about a tie? Yeah, call. We would love to talk to you. 314-931-5877.
Here's the real issue. Single Windsor or double Windsor. That's the real issue here.
Wait, hang on. I got over and then up and in. That's a single?
Single.
That's a single.
That's what I do, single. The double's just too much.
Somebody said, how about wear dress shoes with a suit and not tennis shoes?
Have you noticed how all over television, news, entertainment, all the guys wearing ties, they're all wearing, if not tennis shoes, then athletic soled, so-called air quotes, dress shoes, which I like comfortable shoes. I'm okay with that. And but more and more, the texter's right, wearing a real nice $1,500 suit and Converse.
Well, I will say a lot of what you see on TV has to do with consultants coming in, and they go through a lot of different things.
Good point.
And at one point, they didn't want the guys wearing ties. They wanted to be more conversational and let's just sit around and have, instead of somebody telling you the news, let's talk about it. And so there was a little push there to maybe wear a sweater instead of a tie. So I don't know what the rules are right now as far as what consultants want, but I would assume that there's a lot of that going on with all TV that we see. Who do we have on the line?
We have Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Heidi. Hi, Josh. Hi, Bob.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
We are great.
Great. Loving this day. Okay. I've had 2 daughters get married. Both had 100, 150. Kind of formal-ish weddings. I would never have worried if someone didn't show up without a tie.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would say was it a family picture that they're like, oh, we can't have you here in the family picture without the tie?
Right. I mean, just dress
there's
as
so
you
many other
want.
things that I worried about with my daughter's weddings, that if Uncle Joe wasn't going to wear a tie, well, God love him, I'm glad he came.
Right. That's kind of my thought, too.
Do you think that the mom or the aunt, I should say, felt personally attacked? Like when she read ties are required?
Because we know Uncle Joe won't wear a tie.
They wrote this because
of us.
And then she's like, this is America.
Well, that's an insecurity.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so maybe, and then to come back and say, here, I found one for you.
Oh, yeah,
that's
not helping.
It's a little passive-aggressive,
right.
perhaps.
Yeah, so at that point, I would have said, you know what, we just want your presence, not your present.
Yes.
Sorry, Aunt May, I'm going to put this new tie in a noose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's just so much going on in this world, and just make it down the aisle and be happy, and let's all have fun after. And I've always said I would rather be going to weddings in my family than funerals.
You bet.
Wear what you want.
Lisa, that is such a great point. Somebody said on the text line they went to their grandson's first communion, and I told my husband to wear a suit and tie out of respect for the occasion. We were shocked to see adults in cutoff jeans, T-shirts with bold, inappropriate sayings, a baby in nothing but a diaper. It's just.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. it is.
They must have had a blown out in the car.
So
You've
true,
been there.
Lisa.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you so much for listening and calling in and be a part of the show.
Gosh.
Call in anytime.
I love listening to you all. Okay, bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
Somebody said, I find it annoying when people wear blue jeans to the Fox Theater or to a funeral or a wake.
I try not to wear jeans to a funeral or a wake. But the Fox, I think nice jeans are different than regular jeans.
My little rule is I'll wear jeans and a sport jacket.
Yeah. If I'm wearing a jacket, I just dressed them up, right?
That's my theory.
Yeah. I like the person on the text line who mentioned that everyone wears pajamas in public now.
I mean, there are a lot of people that do. I think it's all kind of gone out the window, but I'm not here to judge. I might giggle a little behind the back if I see an outfit, but I'm not going to go be offended by somebody wearing something, whether you can see their, now.
You do you.
Exactly. I'm probably more offended if, somebody comes into my house and tracks in mud than the way they're dressed or anything like that. Like, that's a whole different thing. But if you're in public, I don't care what you're doing.
Bob, what if I wear a sport coat with my Cookie Monster pajama pants? Is that?
Well, you've dressed them up.
If I'm dressing them up?
Yeah. That's on you for sure. All right, you guys know what we have coming up. Hopefully, you'll continue to be a part of it and keep weighing in on the text line 84126 here on the Big 550 KTRS. It's time to get a check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, there's a crash on 170 South at Brentwood Boulevard blocking the left lane with a stop-and-go jam back to Ladue Road. Estimated clearance time is 4:05. We have an accident on 44 East at 55 with a backup to Jefferson. 64 East is jammed from 14th Street to the Poplar Street Bridge, where there's road work with lane closures from the bridge to Barack Obama Avenue. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rockwood School District. Are you looking for a new part-time or full-time job opportunity? Consider Rockwood School District with openings for custodians, cafeteria workers, and groundskeepers with great benefits, competitive pay, and flexible hours. Apply online at rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
You guys, I had a wonderful weekend. We were outside a lot. Didn't get my workout in, but got on that scale on Monday morning, and I started exactly where I ended on Friday. And so much of that is Premier U because I'm constantly thinking of what I need to be doing. Like it's a plan that's not really a plan, if that makes sense. You meet with them and you have these coaches and cheerleaders who you want to show up for once a month and you want them to be proud of you. And so Premier U, I started because my clothes were just getting too tight and I was looking at pictures and I wanted to feel like me again. Little did I know that we would start with all these blood tests and I would need a couple extra vitamins. If you're feeling sluggish or not quite like yourself, it might be time to optimize your health. And you can do that with your hormones. You can do that by adding some supplements. And don't go and buy them now. I'm saying call Premier U and set up that appointment so that you can get the help of professionals. They will walk through everything that you need. So Premier U can help with hormone replacement therapy. They can help with aesthetic services. I'm talking about microneedling, Botox, and functional medicine. They can help treat thyroid disorder, or maybe you're having headaches too frequently, even some gastrointestinal issues. Premier U can really help with all of that. They're here to kind of set you off on the right track and get you back to feeling like you did maybe 10 years ago. They have helped me. They can help you too. Premier U has 2 locations, one in Swansea, Illinois, one in South County. Both are so easy to get to. You can give them a call, 618-750-LIFE, or go online to premierthelletterumed.com.
Mike Lippert here for Lisi Lumber, a family-owned company that's been serving the area since 1872. You've heard McGraw mention our knowledgeable staff, excellent customer service, and the best of woods. We're now producing and delivering custom prefabricated trellises, pavilions, and pergolas. Union-made, union-delivered. Homeowners and do-it-yourselfers are going to love these. Got an idea? Send a sketch and some dimensions and we'll take care of the rest. For the best of woods and prefabricated outdoor dreams, call Lisi Lumber 234-0105 or LisiLumber.com.
You know, that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
But we've we've talked a lot about how the war in Iran has affected gas prices, but it's also threatening the supply of helium. Phil Kornbluth is the founder and president of Kornbluth Helium Consulting and is joining us to explain. Thanks for making time for us.
Hey, that's okay. My pleasure.
So, Phil, I think most of us, when we think helium, immediately think about balloons, but helium is used in so many other industries. Can you elaborate?
Sure, yeah. Helium is critical to the semiconductor chip manufacturing industry, MRI scanners, optical fiber manufacturing, aerospace industry, and really a host of applications.
So, what exactly is helium and how is it made?
Well, helium is a gaseous element. It's a byproduct of natural gas processing at various places around the world, and in Qatar in particular. It's a byproduct of LNG processing and natural gas processing.
Got it. And what happens when there's a shortage of helium?
Well, when there's a shortage, like with most commodities, you can expect the prices to increase. But in the industrial gas industry, the major suppliers will implement supply allocations, which is like rationing to their customers to try to ensure continuity of supply.
So, if there is a shortage, will it affect? I was thinking hospitals with MRI machines. Who will be hurting here if we don't get enough helium?
Well, the way the industry has supply, they prioritize between more critical applications and applications that are viewed as less critical. So at the front of the line, you get semiconductor chips and aerospace and MRI. At the back of the line, you tend to get party stores, university labs, welders, and other applications that are viewed as a little less critical. So they really bear the burden.
Yeah. Phil, we're having a few issues with your audio. I'm going to take a short break and maybe give you a call back here because there's a couple other questions I have because I think a lot of people are surprised to know what helium actually does and where the biggest supply comes from. So we'll take a short break and then more with Phil Kornbluth, the president of Kornbluth Helium Consulting.
Hey, Anne-Marie here, host of the Inside Out Show and owner of Anne-Marie Design Studio for Black Fox Cooper, St. Louis's premier Andersen certified contractor. That means every window they install meets Andersen's exacting quality standards, and the installation is guaranteed for 2 years, in addition to the 20-year warranty on the glass. With over 20 years of experience and knowing our climate, Black Fox Cooper will install the optimal windows to keep your home comfortable and efficient year-round, and most projects are completed within a day or two with minimal disruption to your daily routine.
Call 314-270-1484 or online at blackboxcooper.com.
Hallmark Stone is a wholesale fabricator of quartz and granite countertops. They normally only sell to kitchen and bath shops, home stores, remodelers, and builders. But once a year, they open their doors to the general public to benefit Annie's Hope and Carney's Kids charities. This Saturday and Sunday is that weekend. It's the 23rd annual Remnant Sale, where you can buy quartz and granite remnants at up to 50% off retail pricing. Remnants are great for vanity tops, islands, fireplace surrounds, bar tops, and more. David Sherwood and Anne-Marie Boges will be broadcasting live on Saturday from 11 to 1. So come by and say hello. Hallmark Stone, located of I-44 at the Soccer Park exit. For directions, call 636-349-1288. Or better yet, check out their website at hallmarkstone.com. Enjoy extreme savings while benefiting local charities. What a great combination. Stop by Hallmark Stone's 23rd annual Remnant Sale this Saturday and Sunday. For more information, visit hallmarkstone.com.
We're joined by Philip Kornbluth, who's the founder and president of Kornbluth Helium Consulting. And as I was mentioning, of course, the war in Iran is affecting gas prices, but it could also be leading to threatening the supply of helium. So let's go back one more time. Helium is used in several industries. I read MRI machines in hospitals. Who else uses helium?
Well, the biggest application for helium is in the manufacturing of semiconductor chips. So, roughly a quarter of the world's supply of helium is used in in chip manufacturing. Another area that is seeing growing demand for helium is the aerospace industry. So folks like SpaceX and Blue Origin and United Launch Alliance, they're all big helium users. But helium has really a host of applications. The party balloon sector is only about 10% of demand.
Really? So helium is a byproduct of what?
It's produced as a byproduct of either LNG production, liquefied natural gas production, or natural gas processing. And in Qatar, where the problems are, there's 3 helium plants, and 2 of them are process the waste gas from LNG production, and the third plant processes the waste gas from traditional natural gas processing. So it's 95% of the world's helium supply is a byproduct of natural gas processing, one form or another.
So with the plants in Qatar, is that just a thing developed? They decided they were gonna be the people to produce it. But anywhere there's LNG, could somebody decide they want to get into the helium game?
No, not exactly. I mean, it's a combination of things, but it's not all natural gas has commercially viable concentrations of helium. So you have to have helium in the gas, and then you have to have enough natural gas to make the total amount of helium that's available worthwhile. Mm-hmm. So Qatar is one of the there's 20 plants in the world, 20 individual helium plants, and Qatar has 3 of them.
Okay.
And Phil, will consumers ever feel kind of if helium is if there's a shortage of helium, will we ever know? Will prices go up in anything that will affect us?
Well, yeah, the place where the average person might be impacted is party balloons, because the party stores are probably going to be subject to some kind of a supply allocation, so they might not have their normal supply of helium, or the price might be higher. So, one way or another, the store might not have helium, it might be out, or they might not be able to supply all that you want, or something like that. But other than that, it's largely invisible to the average person. It's a small part of the semiconductor chip cost stack.
So oil rules the day, and if there's one story of the 20th century, oil might be it, and it's still kind of running here in the first quarter of this century. But the next thing I would think is computer chips, which we saw during the pandemic. Lots and lots of cars just sitting idle because they were lacking the necessary computer chips to finish them off and get them on showroom floors. If this war continues on and it really does threaten semiconductor production, could we see a solution to this war over semiconductors?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The way the industrial gas industry rations supply, they tend to, they're going to give a high priority to supply to the chip industry. So they might not get 100% of their historical requirements, but I would expect them to get a very high percentage, 90%, 95%, something like that, where hopefully they won't have to curtail operations. So it's this is the industry has had a series of 4 shortages. This is maybe possibly the 5th one, but 4 major shortages over the last 20 years. And they've gotten pretty good at managing through these things in a way that usually spares their most important or most critical applications from disrupting their operations. Now, what they won't be spared from is price increases, because it can be costly to maintain continuity of supply. But that's going to be the priority, is continuity of supply.
Phil, what I hear you saying is that some of these headlines are making a little bit more out of what is actually happening, that we're really not going to be troubled by a short supply of helium.
I don't know if I'd want to say that they're making too much of it, but maybe a little bit. I mean, again, the helium suppliers have gotten quite good at maintaining continuity of supply to the most important applications. And between the fact that the chip manufacturers have some inventory and dual sourcing or multiple sourcing type arrangements, I'll be surprised if there's really major disruptions to chip manufacturing. I could be wrong about that.
Is there such thing as naturally occurring helium, or is this something we discovered in the oil making process?
It's all naturally occurring. It comes from it's formed in the ground from the radioactive decay of uranium, and it basically passes through the ground until it gets trapped. Typically, it gets trapped in natural gas. Sometimes it gets trapped in nitrogen or CO2, and but it's naturally occurring, and it's just what we do, what the humans do is when we process the natural gas, we end up concentrating the helium in the waste gas, and then there's different technologies to purify that helium, and then actually it gets liquefied for transportation purposes and also for certain applications. But liquid helium is the coldest substance on the planet. It's 4.2 degrees Kelvin, which is just a little tiny bit higher than absolute zero.
Wow.
And for all those times as kids that we inhaled helium, did that do any damage?
Oh, you'd have to judge that for yourself. No, we couldn't.
Phil, thank you so much for joining us and walking us through the world of helium.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you.
Reese Nichols, the most trusted Missouri real estate company, is now proudly serving St. Louis. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Alliance is now Reese Nichols, a Missouri-born company established 125 years ago. The same trusted agents who served St. Louis for 45 years now have the backing of Missouri's largest brokerage, Reese Nichols. Offices across the metro, in-house services include title and insurance, making your move seamless. They also proudly support the Ronald McDonald House. Visit ReeseNichols.com. That's ReeseNichols.com.
Looking for a recommendation for a great restaurant? Check out the Piccadilly at Manhattan, one of St. Louis's oldest family-owned and operated restaurants, serving some of the best comfort food in town. Nestled in the Ellendale neighborhood at the corner of Piccadilly and Manhattan, offering world-famous chicken pot pies, meatloaf, fried chicken, pot roast, and great fish options for Lent, all in a cozy neighborhood atmosphere with a great little bar and beautiful patio. The Piccadilly at Manhattan, online at thepiccadilly.com.
When you're driving the lane, you've got to stay in control, and the same goes for your car. When the unexpected happens, breakdowns, engine trouble, costly repairs, CarShield has your back so you can keep driving without missing a beat. Don't get benched by expensive car repairs. Join the winning team with America's #1 auto protection company, CarShield. Call 800-861-6176 or visit carshield.com today. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Spring is here, and that means you're going to be spending more time outside and enjoying the outdoors. But your deck, you've been thinking about doing something with that deck for years. Don't wait any longer. Go see my friends over there at Outdoor Living, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It's right there. It's been there a long time. At Outdoor Living, the showroom has a great style, great designs. You can get all sorts of options. They'll come out to your house. They'll do a site visit, and when you're ready, they'll build you a deck with metal framing, composite decking, and they will put a 50-year warranty on that deck. That's right. You don't have to worry about staining. You don't have to worry about warping or anything else. All you have to worry about is how much fun you're going to have. They've also got pergolas and fences and patios furniture. Yeah, they got patio furniture at Outdoor Living. Check out the showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It looks like the old Denny's. You're in the right place. Or online, outdoorlivinginc.com. For all of your patio needs and a 50-year warranty on that new deck. OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Do you have the option to control your cash flow and wealth? Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the Control Option Mindset featuring the Lifetime and Generational Income Maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
Looking for a car? Looking for a pre-owned car? Looking for a new Chevy? Looking for a truck? You found it at Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. Londoff's been selling cars here in St. Louis for 80 plus years. He's got 2 locations, the Washington Elizabeth exit, and of course Highway 70 and Highway 79, the Autoplex. They've got great SUVs, whether it's Suburbans or Tahoes, or great economy cars. They've always got great financing deals, and for service, it's always service with a smile. Johnny Londoff. Find your next car at Johnny Londoff or Londoff.com.
It's springtime, so make some spring cleaning and clear out some room for Dogtown. Dogtown Pizza, of course. Take those freezers and deep freezes and stock them full of Dogtown Pizza. With plenty of sports and warm weather action coming up, you'll want to make sure you always have an emergency pizza on hand. And with 12 different varieties, you're going to need to make plenty of room. Bacon, 4 meat, and the veggie. Clean out those freezers to make plenty of room for all the Dogtown varieties. And to see a full list, check out dogtownpizza.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
8 minutes before 4 o'clock. Let's check back in with Captain Paul. How's traffic?
Heidi, there's a crash on 170 South at Brentwood Boulevard. It's blocking the left lane with the stop-and-go jam back to Delmar. Estimated clearance time there is 4:05. We have an accident on 44 East at 55 with a bumper-to-bumper jam back to Jefferson. Estimated clearance time 4:20. 64 East is jammed from 14th Street to the Poplar Street Bridge. That's where road work with lane closures are from the bridge to Barack Obama Boulevard. And 64 West is congested from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, I tell you what, tax day was last Wednesday, and tax season is over. No, tax season has just begun, actually, because when you do your taxes over the last 3 months or so, you're just recording what happened the year before. Now is when you actually implement your tax savings, implement your tax plan, and get those things a-rolling so that next year at this time you realize, boy, what I did in late April of last year really helped save me $1,000, $2,000, maybe even up to $5,000. And this, you've already got your tax paperwork out because you just did your taxes. Everything's done and signed for. Maybe you even got your tax return back. Now's the time to look at it and say, what more can we do? And that's why you call Jeff Zufall. 636-394-5524, 636-394-5524, Capital Advisory Group, CapitalAdvisoryGRP.com. Now is the time to actually sit down and get your tax plan in place for the rest of this year and into the following years because, well, you didn't do it for the first 4 months, but you can have another 8 months of tax keepings, and you'll thank yourself next year. Now's the time to actually do your tax planning with Capital Advisory Group, CapitalAdvisoryGRP.com.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, but some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
Well, Heidi and Bob, back in the day, on this date, April 21st, I'll start with these. We lost 2 pure American icons. Mark Twain passed away on this day in 1910.
Really?
He was 74 years old. And Prince died on this day.
I did see that.
10 years ago. He was 57.
Ugh.
He lost 2 American icons.
And I think they just released a new song from his repertoire yesterday.
I mean, Paisley Park is pretty big.
It's massive. It looks industrial. We stopped by and weren't there early enough to sign up for a tour, but you can still kind of go in and see an area that has his shoes and there's a stage and all kinds of memorabilia.
I mean, it was his studio, it was his practice space, it was his house.
Yeah.
So did they give tours before he passed away?
I don't think so.
I can't imagine. But it would be pretty cool to go up there and, being from Minneapolis, Bob, he stayed.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had other houses around the globe.
It's in a really interesting area. Like
just like right off the highway, right?
Well, it's like feels more like a Lindbergh kind of,
really?
yeah, and then all of a sudden you just look over and there it is.
Oh. So Prince lived in South County.
A little bit.
By the Ronnies.
I was going to say more of West County.
Oh, okay. West County, Lindbergh.
Manchester.
Huntley.
Uh-huh.
1898, Bill Duggleby of the Philadelphia Phillies hit a grand slam. Bob, we're talking about it 128 years later because it was his first at bat.
No, he had a grand slam his first at bat.
When nobody hit home runs.
Whoa.
He was one of 4 players to ever do that. It took almost 100 years for it to happen again. Jeremy Hermida, Kevin Kuzmanov, and Daniel Nava all did it, but it was in 2005, 2006, and 2010. So it happened once, and then 100 years later,
wow,
it happened 3 more times. 1918, Baron Manfred von Richthofen.
The Red Baron.
The Red Baron was shot down on this date. He made a perfect landing with a bullet in his chest.
Oh, Snoopy got him.
Died in his plane.
Ooh.
He shot down over 80 enemy planes during the First World War. Heidi, don't say ooh. He was one of the bad guys, right?
Yeah, do you know the song, the Snoopy song about the Red Baron? By the Royal Guardsmen. You know that song? I hope to hear it in this show.
You asked me to play it
a year or so ago.
Maybe it was a year to the day. Maybe I brought this up last year.
Maybe so.
Maybe. Red Baron Pizza, is there any tie to that?
Yes. They just use that as part of their logo.
I wonder if they, have to ask anybody.
This article goes on to make jokes about Snoopy and pizza.
Okay.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah, I was saving that.
Allowing us to make those stupid jokes instead.
A man has passed here, people. It was
too soon?
Yeah, 108 years ago. 1980 Boston Marathon, Rosie Ruiz was the first woman to cross the finish line. She was disqualified, though.
Taxi!
She had jumped in to the race with 1 mile to go and crossed the finish line.
I mean, she wasn't even hurting at that point. She was just everybody else is like trying to crawl across the line.
This gal's not even sweating.
She's doing dance moves.
And in 1993, we just lost Chuck Norris, but in 1993, Walker, Texas Ranger premiered on CBS.
All right.
With that.
Very interesting. I'll tell you, you can watch TVs and movies and you can see some fun places that you might want to go visit. And I'm thinking back to Pretty Woman, and when my family took our trip out to LA, we had to go to Rodeo Drive, baby.
Reach Bev will.
Yeah, just to see it. But Altair Travel and Cruises, they can put together a fun trip for you like that. Or maybe you want to go to LA and you want to go out and take some of the tours around Universal, because that's pretty cool as well. So many things to do, so little time. That's why you need to work with Altair Travel and Cruises, because they can make the most of your time. If you want to go somewhere and relax, they've got you covered. So many all-inclusives all over, actually. Or maybe you want to stay in the States and go somewhere. They can offer you so many different ideas. And then they can also help you with, oh, you know what? This is a great restaurant that you want to try on a Thursday night. Or if you're going out with the family, this is a great place. The kids can scream, doesn't matter. I mean, Altair Travel and Cruises, they have more than 30 agents. And so each one of them kind of has a specialty, whether it is flights or maybe it's Mexico or maybe it's Disney. So they're going to put you with the right person, and you're going to be able to plan that next trip. I just had 2 more people sign up for Iceland. That is still a possibility as well. We're going to do that in October. If you want to learn more about that fantastic trip, call Altair Travel 314-968-9600. You can also go online, see some of the fun travel destinations that they have online, altairtravel.com.
Diana from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry, or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen.
The 10-day ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran has been extended. President Trump issued the decision just hours before the temporary truce was set to expire. The president says it will allow Iran to submit a full proposal and talks to conclude. It follows a flurry of White House meetings as the U.S. planned for a second round of talks. ABC's Ian Pannell says Iran has balked at U.S. demands so far to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and give up its enriched uranium.
I think Iran feels that having weathered the first round of bombing, that it in some senses has a stronger position than the Americans are giving them credit for, and they don't see any need to succumb to the demands by the U.S.
President Trump says the U.S. blockade on the Strait of Hormuz will continue. Flu vaccines, once a requirement in the military for 7 decades, now an option. Secretary Pete Hegseth says the move is aimed at expanding personal choice, but some health experts warn it could erode military readiness and lead to more sick calls. A fiery Senate confirmation today for President Trump's Federal Reserve Chair nominee, Kevin Warsh. He's set to replace outgoing Chair Jerome Powell when his term ends next month.
The nominee pledged to keep the nation's central bank free from political interference.
Fed independence is up to the Fed.
But Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren calls Kevin Warsh the president's sock puppet.
Donald Trump has made clear that he does not want an independent Fed.
North Carolina Republican Tom Tillis says he would back Warsh, but not while the Justice Department is still probing the Fed's costly renovation under Jerome Powell.
Let's get rid of this investigation so I can support your confirmation.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Ahead of an ethics hearing today, Sheila Cherfilis McCormick resigned from Congress. The Florida Democrat facing federal charges she stole millions in FEMA disaster funds, allegations she denies. You're listening to ABC News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
I trust Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis to help improve my home when it matters most. It's not just Pella's high-quality windows and doors. It's the local experts who know the St. Louis area so well. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects or 0% no payments, no interest if paid in full within 24 months. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio to learn more. 833-87-PELLA or Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
82 degrees at 4:03 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. Former St. Louis Public Schools Superintendent Keisha Scarlett is suing the district for wrongful discrimination. The suit alleges that the board violated her contract by placing her on administrative leave without an opportunity to address concerns, by denying her access to emails and documents to form an appeal, and by canceling her health insurance before she was terminated. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Melissa Price Smith has launched the Infraction Diversion Program.
This is said to be a forward-thinking initiative designed to provide eligible individuals with constructive alternatives to traditional penalties for minor traffic and municipal offenses. Under the new program, qualifying participants may complete a certified educational course in lieu of paying fines or facing points on their driver's license. Upon successful completion, the infraction is dismissed. This allows participants to avoid a permanent record that could otherwise lead to increased insurance premiums or impact employment and housing opportunities. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
The City of St. Louis and Bi-State Development have narrowed 5 proposed bus rapid transit routes down to 2 final options and will present both for public feedback at upcoming meetings. The first will be Tuesday, May 5th at Rung for Women on Sydney Street, followed by a meeting on Wednesday, May 6th at the Polish Heritage Center on North 20th, and then a virtual meeting on the 7th. Yesterday, Missouri and Illinois held a joint press conference about Work Zone Awareness Week. Joe Monroe of the Illinois Department of Transportation stressed that they need the public's help in keeping workers safe in highway construction zones.
The work that we need to do on the roadways and bridges, it's going to take all of us. Please do your part, drive smart, and slow down.
During the press conference, family members of those impacted by reckless drivers in work zones spoke out and shared their stories. And tickets for an upcoming exhibition at the St. Louis Science Center are now on sale. The Blue Whale Story is a traveling exhibition about blue whales, reportedly the largest creatures ever on Earth. It opens in St. Louis May 23rd and runs through next January. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist. This week is Professional Administrators Week. Walter Knoll Florist makes it easy to say thanks with flowers. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. A strike at the University of Illinois Springfield is over. Tenured faculty hit the picket lines April 3rd after failing to reach a deal over pay increases. Both sides won't reveal the terms of the agreement until it's ratified by the union. Now the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune into Straight Talk and Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. At close, the Dow down 292 points to 49,149. NASDAQ down 144 at 24,259. And the S&P 500 down 45 at 7,064. Now for KTRS Sports and Traffic, let's go to Paul.
Steve, the Cardinals play Miami again tonight in South Florida after having their 5-game winning streak snapped with a 5-3 loss to the Marlins last night. Redbird hitters struck out 13 times in defeat. And former SLU Billiken Brady Dunlap is transferring to the Georgia Bulldogs. Dunlap made 45% of his three-point shots with the Billikens this past season. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. There's a crash on 70 East at 7th Street, causing a stop-and-go back up to Salisbury. We have an accident on 44 East at 55 with a bumper-to-bumper jam back to Grand. Estimated clearance time there is 4:20. 64 East is jammed from Jefferson to the Poplar Street Bridge. That's where there's road work with lane closures from the bridge to Barack Obama Avenue. 44 West is heavy from 270 to 141, and 64 West is congested from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. Free evaluations, and they take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our forecast calls for mostly clear skies tonight and overnight low in the upper 50s. Sunny tomorrow with an afternoon high around 80. At 4:08, sunshine, 82 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Are you helping to take care of a senior-aged parents living at home? How many times are you getting a phone call to help them navigate daily tasks, from shopping online to running errands, doctor's appointments? It can be exhausting and it can be frustrating for everyone. You need to check out Senior Concierge. It's a subscription-style membership dedicated to helping St. Louis area seniors stay connected and confident while living at home. It's as easy as an app, and it's just $79 a month. They'll get access to all of the personal concierge support that can assist you with a wide range of needs, from dinner reservations to concerts, sports tickets, home maintenance, groceries, housekeeping, rides to and from the doctors, and so much more. Senior Concierge, convenient, confidence, and connection begins here. Become a member today. Learn more at SeniorCSTL.com. That's SeniorCSTL.com, or call 314-270-7800 or SeniorCSTL.com.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at cunafoodservice.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our headlines for this Tuesday afternoon, April 21st. St. Louis Zoo bringing back exclusive after-hours adventure. Night at the Zoo will return Wednesday, May 20th. If you've never been, this is a fantastic event. The St. Louis Zoo event is for adults ages 21 and older. It runs from 6 to 9 p.m. Night at the Zoo allows attendees to sip and stroll around, featuring complimentary tasting stations of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages from local distributors. But there will also be specialty food and beverages available for purchase, as well as food trucks on site. There will be unlimited rides on the carousel and the railroad. And it's not a party unless there's music, so there will be live entertainment in the Schnook Family Plaza. Member tickets are $35. If you're a non-member, that's $45. You can go to stlzoo.org for more information, but it is a whole lot of fun. And there's just something weird when the sun goes down and you can still hear the animals, but maybe you can't see them.
Ooh.
It's kind of fun.
And then the night they let him out while it was going on. I smell a movie.
Guys, we went to the zoo on Sunday, and as we're going through the waters at River's Edge, where the elephants are, number one, we have a lot of elephants.
We have some great elephants. Did you get to see the baby?
I saw the baby.
Oh, the baby's so cute.
So we're walking by. Oh, there's 2 elephants. And then you walk a little bit further, and there's 3 more. And then you walk further, and there's like 3 more. We have a lot of elephants.
Are you sure you weren't looking at the same?
And you
just from a different angle.
Went around the bend.
Yeah, because it can get you.
Oh,
now I'm rethinking
maybe.
this whole thing. I even thought that. I was like, these are different elephants. Because there's, that one has a ball next to it.
Were they Indian or African?
They were Indian. We have all Indian elephants.
I did not know that.
And you can tell by their ears. And they're smaller. But I remember a story that we did last week, 2 weeks ago, about an elephant that got out of its enclosure.
Oh, yeah.
Not here.
Not here, but before the zoo opened, they had noticed it, and I made a joke on the air, and I even used it again, recycled it. Honey, there was an elephant that got out. What if they didn't know it had gotten out until after the zoo opened?
Where's the joke?
Can you imagine rounding a corner and there's just an elephant next to, the food court? Is that supposed to be there?
That's not really the joke. The joke is...
Where is the punchline?
Here's the joke. Saw an elephant in my pajamas. How he got there, I'll never know.
What were you doing in your pajamas?
Oh, boy.
Bill McFarland discovered his great-grandfather's collection in a deteriorating trunk in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Collection of what, you might ask? Movies.
Oh.
One reel was a lost 1897 film by Georges Méliès, something French.
Oh, he's the French guy that almost invented movie making.
Look at you.
I took a film class.
Man, you
Bob.
are knocking out the trivia today. We've been doing trivia on the breaks, folks.
I took a film class.
Anyway, this guy's great-grandfather was a traveling showman, and he would go to circuses and fairs and stuff and show films. He had that one, and the reason, not just because it's old, that one was important, was that it was apparently the first film showing what a robot would look like. We were just talking about robots. It has not been seen by anyone in more than a century. So it took it to the experts. They refrigerated it right away, and they're going to try and make sure that it's preserved. But it had been in his great-grandfather's trunk in the attic for 100 years.
Man.
Isn't that wild?
This is back in the day where you did the hand crank, and everything. And one of the things that we had watched was they gave like Scorsese and David Lynch and maybe Spielberg, the directors of today, they gave them that equipment and said, make a 5-minute movie. And it was kind of cool to see what they had come up with.
That was in a class?
Yeah.
I'll try to take it.
Yeah, I'll try to find the...
Tell the professor I want to take it.
Yeah. All right, I've got 2 breaking news stories. Very first one is that St. Louis has okayed the permit for the $3 billion Armory data center.
I did see that.
With a list of conditions.
Because I thought it was on kind of pause for a second.
It was on pause, and just before we got on the air today, or maybe after we started, this comes down with a list of conditions, and maybe we'll get the full story tomorrow, but it looks like the Armory data center is going ahead. And right before we got on the air, Steve Potter even mentioned this as well, the income tax repeal. This is the signature issue in Governor Mike Keogh's second year. They want to do away with the 4.7% income tax. It generates $9 billion in revenue for the state of Missouri. It's the biggest revenue driver in the state. And the question is, well, how do you make that up? They're going to raise sales tax. They're going to raise other taxes. They're going to raise taxes TBD, to be determined.
Yeah, it's
seems like a sloppy,
scary.
sloppy way to govern.
What are the details? I love philosophically, I like the idea. But what's going to happen in real terms?
That's exactly right. And who's going to be paying for it in the meantime?
95 to 59 vote. 9 Republicans joined Democrats, but Republican Brad Crist of St. Louis said, let's put it to the people and let them decide. We'll vote on it in November.
We need details between now and then.
We'll have plenty of people on talking about it on both sides.
Yes.
In the next couple of months, I'm sure.
Yeah. You know, there's only one side to be on when you're talking about RVs, and that is for them, because they provide so much joy. They get you away from your home and just allow you to kind of step back and relax and be in nature. Byerly RV knows that they have been selling exactly that for more than 75 years. Now, the RVs didn't look quite the same as they do today. You can find all of the amenities that you could possibly want in RVs these days, or you can go very, very simple and it be kind of a teardrop, and maybe you crank out like a side of it that is canvas that gives you a little more room, but you will find it all at Byerly RV. And you can get into an RV a lot less than you think you can. I mean, these are loans that you can stretch out for 10, 15, 20 years. So you can have an RV and be paying $200 a month and you're out on your adventures. It's a fantastic thing for families. It's some of my best memories as a kid when we would go out in our pop-up trailer. My mom and dad never dreamed that I would still be RVing, only now in a motorhome. And we love it even more today than I did as a kid. We get to see so much of America. I mean, we've gone to the East Coast. We have gone, south towards Florida. We have gone over to Branson and beyond. And every single time we come back loving our country and loving our rig even more, because it really is about the journey, not necessarily the destination when you're RVing. You can see all they have to offer by visiting Byerly RV there in Eureka at 109 and 44, or go online, ByerlyRV.com, and they've got you covered from storage to service and all of the different parts and fun things that you could get in the store. ByerlyRV.com.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for Premier Heating and Cooling. You know how spring works in St. Louis. One week you're running the furnace, the next week you're flipping on the air conditioner. It's weather whiplash, and your HVAC system feels it too. That's why spring is the perfect time to have the experts at Premier Heating and Cooling check things out. Their technicians go through 5 years of training, well beyond industry standards. So when they perform a tune-up, they're making sure your system is running safely, efficiently, and ready for whatever the next St. Louis weather swing brings. If your furnace or air conditioner is older or starting to struggle, Premier can help with that too. They offer financing options that make replacing your system far more manageable, and a new unit can mean better comfort and lower energy bills all year long. So whether it's a quick tune-up or time for an upgrade, call the team that knows how to handle St. Louis weather. 636-916-1122, premierheatingcooling.net. Comfort you can count on.
Outstanding, meticulous, friendly, professional, trustworthy. These are the words from actual customer reviews used to describe Morelli Tuck Pointing. John Morelli and his family have been providing the very best in tuck pointing in St. Louis for 35 years. Morelli repairs chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone. Morelli. If you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or online, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
How would you like your vehicle serviced at your own home or office? Our new Mobile Service Plus, available exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac, can do just that. Hi, this is Joe Clemens. Simply give us a call or go to our website and get a unit dispatched right to your doorstep. This is a game changer for customer service, and we are so happy to offer it to you. Everything from oil changes, belts, new tires, tire rotation, recalls, key fobs, brake pads and rotors, EV charge, battery replacement, air conditioning service, and so much more. St. Paul's Mobile Service Plus will come to you. Call our mobile dispatch at 636-931-0055. That's 636-931-0055. Or go to our website at stpaulcadillac.com and set up an appointment. It's that simple. Get door-to-door service with St. Paul's new Mobile Service Plus. Nothing could be easier. Set up your appointment today. That's Mobile Service Plus, exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac at the Herculaneum Auto Mall exit.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When you're injured, everything changes. The stress, the bills, the uncertainty. One call changes it all. Underlaw.
They step in, they take on the fight, and they don't back down. You can count on Onderlaw. Onder wins.
At Onderlaw, they've recovered over $5 billion for their clients. No surprises, no hidden fees, just results.
Online at onderlaw.com. Onder wins.
How do you separate estate planning from elder law? You don't, because they're so intertwined. Let's face it, we're all getting older, and you need to make these decisions today, whether it's for your parents, for yourself, or for future generations. Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, and Caroline Stolzer have been navigating these important decisions for more than 50 years. Beck, Lennox, Stolzer, Estate Planning, and Elder Law. Call them, 636-946-7899 or BeckElderLaw.com. You can thank me later.
Farmers and ranchers, when it's time to buy or sell ag equipment, think Purple Wave Auction. We're your go-to online marketplace for tractors, combines, sprayers, and more. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Experience the Purple Wave difference. Nationwide reach with a local touch. Purple Wave Auction. Whether you're expanding your operation or streamlining your fleet, we've got you covered. Visit purplewave.com today. Fuel your farm with Purple Wave Auction.
I'm Mark Cantor. Here's why you can count on Cantor Injury Law.
My name is Michelle. I'm a litigation paralegal at Cantor Injury Law, and you can count on Cantor because we are smart, honest, and hardworking.
I'm Kevin Glenn, and a partner here at Cantor Injury Law. You can count on Cantor because we make your cause our cause.
No fee if no recovery. Please visit CantorInjuryLaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS. This is the Business Journal Report with editor Erik Siemers on the Heidi Glaus Show. Powered by Capital Advisory Group. CapitalAdvisoryGRP.com.
Well, the journalist over at St. Louis Business Journal keep us in the know. Erik Siemers, the editor, is back to talk about a couple of those stories. Let's start with construction at the Galleria, Erik. What do you know about Dick's House of Sport?
Well, we know that it is under construction. You can see the work being done on this new anchor tenant of the Galleria going on right now. Now, Dick's House of Sport is an offshoot of Dick's Sporting Goods, but like a lot of retailers, it's a concept that is much more experiential. So, in addition to just being a sporting goods retailer like a traditional Dick's, these are much larger. They typically take up 100,000 square feet. They combine sporting goods retail with attractions like a rock climbing wall, a turf field, tracks, and sometimes an ice rink, or golf simulator bays and batting cages. They'll host group outings and birthday parties and offer services for bikes and golf clubs and baseball and softball gloves. So it's it's a much larger concept than a traditional Dick's, and it would be the first of its kind here in the St. Louis region.
And so, obviously, they believe they know what they're doing. Is there a long enough track record around the nation to say this is going to be a winner?
They've opened 16 of these just last year alone.
That's a commitment.
So they have 36 in total.
Wow.
And they've already started construction on about 15 others that are scheduled to open throughout this year, according to its most recent earnings report. And by 2028, Dick's House of Sport expects to have 75 to 100 locations.
Wow.
Across the U.S. So it is a huge investment by that company. And if you think about it, there are a lot of retailers that are finding success in this kind of a concept. Some of the more pioneering ones are in the in sort of the outdoor and hunting gear, right? You've got Bass Pro Shops.
Mm-hmm.
You've got its counterpart, Cabela's. I was just up in my home state of Minnesota recently, and one of the big sporting goods chains up there is called Shields. All of their stores are much more immersive and have, things you can try and feel and play with in there. So I think some of these big box retailers are shifting their strategy a little bit more, knowing that people can buy these goods anywhere.
And Dick's House of Sport
buy them online.
Won't open until next year, 2027?
That's what I believe, yeah. They've just started construction on it, so there's some time to go. But it looks like that's about the time it's expected to open. That's correct.
All right. Speaking of sports, you talked with Richard Chaffetz last week, and he recently acquired minority ownership stakes in both San Francisco Giants and the Portland Trail Blazers. Does he plan on bringing a franchise to St. Louis?
Well, right now, Dr. Chaffetz seems pretty satisfied in where he is at. Now, a couple of qualifications of that statement. He has always expressed an interest in owning an NBA team. He is not the primary owner of the NBA's Trailblazers. He just joined a significant sort of ownership stake in the Portland Trailblazers, which were recently acquired by Tom Dundon, the billionaire who owns the Carolina Hurricanes of the National Hockey League. So he has joined Tom Dundon's ownership team. Tom Dundon is the governor, and Richard Chaffetz is sort of the head of several committees on their board. So he's got a significant position in steering that company. But that, of course, at the moment would preclude him from, owning another NBA franchise. So he's not going to be bringing one to St. Louis anytime soon, which is something he seems to have, he's discussed with us in the past, his belief that St. Louis would be a good home for an NBA team and that he would love to bring one there. He is pretty content with being involved on the boards of the teams in Portland with the NBA and San Francisco Giants in Major League Baseball. He says if an opportunity were to come up to be a governor of a team, to be the primary principal owner, he would certainly entertain that notion. But his biggest love is in basketball. And as we know, he led the effort along with David Hoffman and Jason Tatum of the Celtics to try to get a WNBA franchise for St. Louis. But the WNBA decided to go into a different path. They instead awarded the expansion teams to existing current NBA owners in cities that didn't currently have WNBA teams. So they went for much more established ownership groups. So by being part of a junior partner in an NBA ownership group, you have been vetted by the league. You are a part of the league. You are a known investor. So perhaps the next time a franchise becomes available in either league, you are no longer an unknown quantity. So the opportunities for him become a lot stronger down the road, should he choose to pursue that. Now, it's worth noting, he does have one professional franchise that is associated with St. Louis. It's his Major League Pickleball team, the St. Louis Shock. Of course, the catch with that is that Major League Pickleball, their franchises attach themselves to cities, but they don't really play there.
No.
They are more a brainstorming league where they'll have 6 to 10 events over a season and all held in like one city. And all the teams will play there. It's not like it's a traveling league like a traditional sports league would be. But nevertheless, they've attached the St. Louis name to Major League Pickleball, and they've made investments in that league, and they've brought events to St. Louis. He's also he's a part owner in the esports team called Team Liquid. He's part of the star-studded ownership group of the F1 racing team Alpine. So he's got these new ownership positions in the Giants and the Trailblazers are far from his first venture into sports ownership, but they are certainly the biggest individual investments he's made and the biggest stakes he's made. So he continues to kind of inch his way up toward eventual potentially full ownership of a franchise somewhere down the road.
Well, it's very exciting. And, we can just cross our fingers for a WNBA team. A city alderman delayed his plan to help food trucks because of an objection from the Cardinals. What was their issue?
So the Cardinals have, for a long time, really since they negotiated the deal to build Busch Stadium, have had the city had granted them the right to manage and regulate the food vendors in and around the stadium. So while they're supportive of this food truck legislation, they believe that the bill put forward by Alderman Rasheed Aldridge would have limited their ability to, or even ended their ability to have control of the street vendors around Busch Stadium. So what they told us last week, their top legal official, Mike Whittle, spoke with one of our journalists here at the Business Journal, and he said that they're generally very supportive of expanding access to food vendors across the city. They don't want to hold that up, but they're very protective of their ability to kind of police and regulate which vendors are appearing outside their stadium. The team each year charges 10 or 15 vendors about like $100 a season to operate in the area. So it's not like it's a big, expensive thing. But by having control of that area, they're able to make sure that they've got the right kind of venues, that there's that it's clean, that it's fitting with the ballpark atmosphere. So they were worried that the bill that Aldridge put forward would eliminate this so-called, what they call the clean zone. And Aldridge, of course, didn't exactly agree with that characterization. He does not think it eliminates that. But in the spirit of cooperation with the Cardinals, he was willing to hold on to the bill so they could kind of make the language a little bit more explicit so that the Cardinals weren't necessarily concerned anymore. So the bill's still going to move forward. The Cardinals were concerned about the language of the bill and the effect it would have, and Alderman Aldridge agreed to sort of put it on hold for a bit until they could clean up those efforts.
So Aldridge wants it to get more taxes for the city?
No, the bill itself would sort of reduce some of the regulatory burdens put upon food truck operators to make it easier for them to operate in the city. It would expand where they can operate, including in the Central West End, on Cherokee Street, Grand Center, Soulard, downtown. And currently, the locations for food trucks are limited by the city.
Okay.
It would also extend hours from 11 p.m. and in some cases to 1 a.m. to support nightlife. So it's really trying to free some of the restrictions.
Gotcha.
And it would also extend a distance that trucks must keep from restaurants. So they're trying to preserve the restaurant industry while also making it easier for these food truck operators to operate. So it's just that the Cardinals felt that the language of the legislation as it was written was overlooking the exemption that was given to the Cardinals that allows them to control the streets adjacent to the ballpark and their authority over that part of the city. So that's really where this dispute has come from. The Cardinals intervened because they wanted to make sure that their agreement was still intact.
Got it. So this is kind of put on pause. It's not going away.
Right. The Cardinals' interjection with this, again, they couldn't have said it more clearly. They are otherwise in favor of expanding business for food trucks. This isn't about a food truck thing. It's strictly about how those streets around Busch Stadium are regulated and the authority they have over street vending there.
Yeah. The city is proposing a multi-year water rate increase. What would that look like? And would residents get a say or a vote, or this would just be kind of tacked on?
Well, so the city, just this week, released a multi-year plan following a big study they had conducted that found that the system as it is now is not generating enough revenue to cover the long-term infrastructure needs and operating costs. So the proposal by the Water Division calls for a series of increases that begin with two 18% hikes in each of 2026 and 2027, followed by three annual increases of 6% from 2028 through 2030, followed by smaller increases all the way through 2032. So the idea is to balance their financial stability with some predictability for customers, while also kind of funding large-scale capital improvement program. So for residents and customers, the increases would raise the average monthly bill currently at about between $35 to $45 by roughly $7 to $9 in 2026 and again in 2027, with additional increases of between $2 to $3 per month following, all the way through 2032. So the issue the city is going through right now is it's got this massive water system that was made for a city of 1 million people that is now serving a city of around 300,000 people, and they do not have the tax base to afford the roughly $700 million in capital improvements that are needed to maintain and modernize this water system. So the rate hikes that have been considered inevitable. They are necessary, they believe, to be able to afford maintenance of this massive water system. So to answer your question about will the public have a say, the city is going to hold public meetings on this proposal, including a town hall this evening at the Buder Library, B-U-D-E-R, and there's an additional session planned in May. Interestingly, a part of this is that Mayor Spencer, in her State of the City address last week, in addition to saying the system has been operating in the red for years, also used the water system as part of her support for these controversial data center projects. So she says the city is in favor, should be opening the doors to these data center projects, of course, as long as they're on the city's terms. And we saw today a conditional use permit was awarded for the very controversial data center project adjacent to the Armory. That's news that just broke this afternoon. But Mayor Spencer said that, adding large-scale users like data centers could actually help stabilize the water system costs by broadening the rate base. So even as the city faces this looming need to raise water rates, bringing on major customers for the system would generate some revenue to help perhaps mitigate some of those costs going forward. So she's looking at where most people are looking at these data centers as water abusers. The city is looking at a water infrastructure that is too big and too frankly outdated to service the number of people that live here anymore. So adding more users to the system is something the city really needs. And these data center operators provide that kind of an opportunity. And so in addition to data centers perhaps being what some people believe a necessity in servicing this next generation technology economy that's coming, that she also sees it as an opportunity to sort of help support some of the city's infrastructure problems.
Very interesting. Well, you can read more about what's happening in business news in our area online at bizjournals.com/St. Louis. Thank you so much, Erik.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Are you ready for tax season? Don't let the tax changes passed in the Big Beautiful Bill Act catch you off guard. Hi, I'm Jeff Azufal, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group and the author of the #1 best-selling book on taxes, Keep What's Yours, and my soon-to-be-released book, Keeping What's Yours, the Strategic Tax Planning Guide for the One Big Beautiful Bill. Since 1976, Capital Advisory Group has been saving our clients money year after year. Give us a call at 636-394-5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
It is 4:40. Time to get another check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, the latest is a crash on 64 West before Mason, blocking the 3 left lanes. We have an accident on 70 West at Salisbury with the stop and go back up to Branch. There's a vehicle fire on 44 East at Antire, causing a backup to Lewis. We have an accident on 44 East at 55 with a bumper-to-bumper jam back to Grand. 64 East is jammed from Jefferson across the Poplar Street Bridge. That's where there's road work with lane closures from the bridge to near Barack Obama Avenue. 64 West is congested from Kings Highway to McCausland and from 364 to the 6470 interchange. In Illinois, 64 East is jammed from 255 to 157 due to road work, and 70 West is bumper to bumper from Exchange to the Musial Bridge. This traffic report is brought to you by Aldon Heating and Cooling. Persistent St. Louis heat is on the way. Now's the time to take advantage of Aldon's $79 AC check. Book your appointment now as spaces are filling up fast. And for more information on a state-of-the-art Daikin Fit system, visit al-don.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
You know, that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for Premier Heating and Cooling. You know how spring works in St. Louis. One week you're running the furnace, the next week you're flipping on the air conditioner. It's weather whiplash, and your HVAC system feels it too. That's why spring is the perfect time to have the experts at Premier Heating and Cooling check things out. Their technicians go through 5 years of training, well beyond industry standards. So when they perform a tune-up, they're making sure your system is running safely, efficiently, and ready for whatever the next St. Louis weather swing brings. If your furnace or air conditioner is older or starting to struggle, Premier can help with that too. They offer financing options that make replacing your system far more manageable, and a new unit can mean better comfort and lower energy bills all year long. So whether it's a quick tune-up or time for an upgrade, call the team that knows how to handle St. Louis weather. 636-916-1122, premierheatingcooling.net. Comfort you can count on.
I've been asked to say a word about Allen Roofing. That's not fair. I can't say it in a word. If they just did roofs, I probably could. I would say roofs. But they can do siding. They could replace it. They could put leaf guards on. They could reattach it like they had to do for me, where my gutter kind of came away from the house. Siding issues, they carry James Hardy, the very best. They can fix that too. Basically, if it's something you could see from the outside of your home or your office, they can fix it, improve it, or replace it. Look, it's probably the biggest investment you're ever going to make. Protect it. Absolutely. And nobody does it better than Allen Roofing. Check out all the reviews online. Everybody else seems to know. I shouldn't have to tell you these things. For all of your roofing needs and so much more, Allen Roofing. Find them online at aroofing.net.
Can I get serious for a moment? Something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is my front yard and taking care of your front yard. Because when you drive by someone's house and it's full of weeds, you think to yourself, oh man, it's very, very simple. You know how much I love to pretend to be a yard dork. You know what I use? Fertilome. I go to fertilome.com and I type in my zip code, and a whole host of local independent lawn and garden dealers show up. I buy the crabgrass preventer plus lawn food. It's the spring application. I get it down on my yard as soon as possible, and that greens up my yard and keeps the weeds away. So it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. But really, all I'm doing is getting Fertilome and putting it on my front yard. And that will take care of my yard for many, many, many weeks, and it go a long way to having the greenest yard in the block. So this spring, you want to green up your yard and get rid of the weeds? It all starts at Fertilome or fertilome.com.
Choose Pella of St. Louis for window and door replacement to help enhance your home. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this, Mama said, Mama said.
For more than 10 years, a hand-picked group of St. Louisans have shared stories about their moms or people who maybe were a mom influence. It's a show called Mama Said, Mama Said. Laura Ray produces the show, and she is back with a preview. It is great to see you.
It's great seeing you, too. But I'm not the only one. We have 3 other co-producers, co-directors who work their tails off to do the show.
And how did it all begin 13 years ago? Because this is going to be the 13th show.
It happened with a woman out of Madison, Wisconsin, who had this idea. And like 5 years after that, like 2018, she decided not to do it anymore. The show was called Listen to Your Mother. And when she put a kibosh on it, I thought it can't die. It had already become a St. Louis tradition.
Yeah. And so how many people are sharing their stories this year?
This year, 20.
Oh, my gosh.
We got over 100 stories, and it was so painful to whittle down to 20. But it's a roller coaster ride, like a 90-minute roller coaster ride. You'll laugh, you'll cry.
All of it.
All of it.
Well, Linda Metzler is one of the women telling her story. This is the 4th year you've participated?
Well, not contiguously. Over the last 10 years, I've done, or 13 years, I've done 4 of them.
Now, does your mom just have that much material?
Well, you know, it may be the other way around.
I got you.
So I
Okay.
did one about my mom, and I did one about my kids and being a mom, and then I did one about being an empty nester, and we'll see what comes out this year. I don't know.
All right. It's going to be fun.
She is hilarious. So I keep on calling her and like, guess what? You're back.
Whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
You know, a couple things about this. It's gotten so big that you now air it on PBS.
We do. In fact, today I just got an email from National, and they are renewing it for the 4th year.
That's fantastic.
It makes me cry. Yeah.
So it benefits a local charity. Tell me about Foster Together.
Every year we pick a nonprofit in St. Louis to give all the proceeds, all the ticket proceeds. And Foster Together is a beautiful organization that pays for, just helps foster parents throughout. And one of our
And they're
cast
so
members,
needed, yeah.
Yeah, one of our cast members is a board member, and her story is unbelievable.
So incredible.
I want to go back to Linda. I can tell already you're a pretty funny person. Did you know you could write funny? Because that's sometimes a different deal.
Well, you know, blogs didn't come out until the early 2000s, so that's really when I became a superstar. In a second. I've always written as a hobby, but, you know, the internet, of course, amplifies all that. And then when Listen to Your Mother started, now Mama Said, I was like, yeah, I'll do a different medium. I'll stand up in front of them. So that's how that came.
Well, Laura, you kind of mentioned it will go through this roller coaster, and I'm just looking at the program. You've got one story, Held Me All Together, Mom Tells, Mama Said, Stealing Sunshine from the Monster. I mean, there are really, it touches on so many different subjects. Give us kind of an array.
The beautiful thing about it is you can't make it up. It's all real. And it goes from motherhood with a woman who has bipolar disorder. There's a story about. Give me a couple. Give me yours.
Oh,
yours is hilarious.
They let me do something different this year, so I'm doing a little stand-up act instead of reading an essay. So, but it's called "Kids Are Like Shots of Tequila. You never know you've had too many until that last one."
Uh-oh.
Something
I like
that's a very
it.
long title, but it's something along those lines.
You know what? I like that a lot. When the show is over, do you see tears? Is it therapy? How do you describe what the audience goes through?
Completely. We wanted to give everybody, we didn't want to give them a knife to slit the wrist, but we did want to give them Kleenex. But you do, you just laugh. You laugh hysterically, you cry. I did a story about my grandmother who was an immigrant from now the Ukraine, and it just brought back so many memories. And I mean, you do laugh and cry. There's so many stories that is the roller coaster within this story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
special.
The last time I talked to Laura for a show, I said, I got something that I've written about. It's funny, and it's about cancer. Now, I know you don't usually hear those two things together. And she goes, you can't. We have 3 cancer stories.
and all survivors.
Yeah.
All survivors.
And uplifting.
And uplifting.
Yeah.
There is something about motherhood, and there's something about kids looking back on their mothers that you just don't really get with fatherhood. They say these days dads are a lot more present than they used to be, and I don't know if it's just changing with the times, but when you guys grew up, Bob, when you grew up, Dad was always out of the house and Mom was always the one that was there. So what is it, from your experience doing this 13 years in a row, what is it about motherhood that's just different than fatherhood?
I wouldn't mind doing a daddy said. I really wouldn't. But it's universal. I mean, we all have one. We all have one, whether, the good and the bad and the ugly. And, and then you look back when you're a mother and you're like, it wasn't that bad. She wasn't that horrible.
Yeah.
I may be worse.
So
how we've had some like single father stories where it was father as a mother sort of thing. Like I'm filling that role. That's happened.
Right. We have 2 men in our program this year, which is really exciting.
Well, how many are told about a mother and how many are told as a mother? Do you break it down in a certain way?
That's a good question, Heidi.
What do you feel? How do you feel?
So,
yeah. How do you feel? Is it more
50-50 or is it mostly about mom?
It's mostly about mom.
Yeah.
Because being a mom.
Yeah.
Because I would think it's mostly about everybody being a mom is that's what compels you to write. But some people do write about their mom.
Yeah.
Well, yours are always about, the ones I've heard you do are about your mother.
Yes.
Or your grandmother this time.
Yes. I mean, my kids have always been walking with a raincoat and dark glasses and they're incognito because at the very beginning I did write a few about them and it was not pretty. But
that is too fun. Is it therapeutic to write?
Oh, yes. Please do.
Yeah.
Will you write one?
Probably not, but I'll try. I'll write it down and maybe
about a mom you know.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mama Said is this Saturday at the Grandel Theater. It's so popular. There are 2 shows, 3:30, 6:30. How much are tickets?
$20.
And that a portion of that benefits Foster Together.
All of
the entire ticket?
The entire ticket.
Yeah. I mean, there's no better place to be this weekend. Laura, Linda, thank you so much. Break a leg this weekend.
Thank you.
6 minutes before 5 o'clock. Let's check back in with Captain Paul. How's traffic?
Traffic is pretty rough out there, Heidi. A crash on 64 West before Mason has been cleared, but there's a residual slowdown back to Lindbergh. We have an accident on 70 West at Salisbury with a stop and go back up to Branch. There's a vehicle fire on 44 East at Antire causing a backup to Lewis. We have an accident on 44 East at 55 with a bumper-to-bumper jam back to Grand. 64 East is jammed jammed from Jefferson across the Poplar Street Bridge. That's where there's road work with lane closures from the bridge to Barack Obama Avenue. 64 West is congested from Kings Highway to McCausland and from 364 to the 6470 interchange. In Illinois, 64 East is jammed from 255 to 157 due to road work, and 70 West is bumper to bumper from Exchange to the Musial Bridge. This traffic report is brought to you by the Quarry at Crystal Springs Golf Course. The Quarry at Crystal Springs delivers a convenient and affordable golf course that is a true test of any player's game. 4 sets of tees will allow players of all abilities to choose the course length that will best suit their enjoyment. Visit them today. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
You know, over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler, it's where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner of Timberline Professional Tree Care. The weather's warming up, flowers are blooming, and it's time to get back outside and start thinking about your trees. When you reach for your phone to call a tree contractor, we hope you'll give Timberline the opportunity to earn your business. Timberline is locally owned and operated and fully dedicated to delivering the best overall customer experience while providing the highest quality care for your trees. Every one of our crews includes at least one ISA-certified arborist on site, not just in the office, but right there at your home, so you can be confident the work is done safely, correctly, and always with your tree's best interests in mind. From planting and fertilization to pruning and removal, we're committed to excellence in everything trees. So when it's time to make that call Timberline Professional Tree Care at 636-479-7475 or visit us online at stltreecare.com.
Sunday, April 26th is packed with fun. When the Cardinals welcome the Seattle Mariners, you can score a classic chain-stitch Cardinals hat presented by Coca-Cola. Plus, kids 12 and under receive a Fredbird Hall of Fame ring presented by the Pasta House Company. And get the chance to run the bases after the game. Giveaways, post-game fun, and Cardinals baseball all in one big Sunday showdown. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Matthew Libertor. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fredbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family-favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties. I want to buy your home. Any property, any condition, and always as is. I will pay top dollar with no contingencies and no inspections. You walk away with cash. So don't waste time and money making repairs and paying real estate commissions. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. Or go to robankproperties.com. That's ROBANG RobangProperties.com.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newssetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, it is quitting time for a lot of folks, but we've got more to get to. We're going to be joined by the St. Louis County Prosecutor, who has a new traffic infraction diversion program for traffic offenders to stay out of jail. We'll tell you all about that and figure out how things have been going in this year or two. We got some entertainment news, and then we'll wrap this show up with some random. So I hope you'll hang out with us for another hour. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh and Bob on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis, Wildwood, De Pere, Columbia, and the world. Streaming live at KTRS.com.
I'm Michelle Franzen. Hours before the temporary ceasefire was set to expire between the U.S. and Iran, President Trump announcing he's extending the deadline until Iran, he says, submits a full proposal and talks conclude. The president says the U.S. will continue its blockade on tankers traveling to Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran so far not agreeing to a second round of talks and also keeping its own blockade. ABC's Christian Cordero has more.
Iran's foreign minister on social media today called the blockade of Iranian ports an act of war, accusing the U.S. of violating the ceasefire. The country's UN representative says it will only agree to a new round of negotiations when the blockade ends.
Democrat Sheila Cherfilis McCormick has resigned from Congress amid a House ethics hearing and federal charges. She stole $5 million in FEMA disaster funds, allegations she denies. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
She says, quote, this was not a fair process. She says the ethics committee refused her attorney's request for a delay to prepare her defense. And then she says, quote, rather than play these political games, I choose to step away so that I can devote my time to fighting for my neighbors in Florida's 20th congressional district. I hereby resign from the 119th Congress. She goes on to say, be careful about the precedent that expelling a member who had not been convicted on criminal charges would have set.
An investigation underway following the close call at Nashville International Airport over the weekend. Two Southwest planes nearly collided midair. Now another close call, this time at New York's JFK. ABC's Sam Sweeney says two planes were attempting landings when pilots' alert systems sounded.
The American Airlines plane and the Air Canada plane are lining up to land at the same time on parallel runways. But for some reason, that American Airlines regional jet overshoots his pathway, if you will, and goes into the lane, if you will, of that Air Canada jet.
You're listening to ABC News.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Wayday now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
You know, that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has two locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, two great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these three I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, two locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
82 degrees at 5:03 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. At tonight's St. Louis County Council meeting, County Executive Sam Page is expected to request $1.7 million for violence prevention efforts. Tonight's council meeting begins at 6:30. Six Flags St. Louis is facing legal action after 3 people were injured last year on one of the water slides in Hurricane Harbor. The suit alleges the amusement park failed to properly train staff. St. Louis is taking steps to address its shortage of police officers.
It's called the Fast Track Testing Day Blitz, and it will give candidates an on-site opportunity to apply to be a St. Louis police officer. The hiring push comes as the department has lost hundreds of officers over the past few years. During the event, candidates will complete applications, fitness and aptitude tests, and oral interviews the same day. Final hiring decisions will be based on successfully passing a background check, medical exam, drug screening, and psychological evaluation. The starting annual pay for a St. Louis police officer is $56,000, increasing to $64,000 after 2 years of service. The event is Wednesday, May 6th. The first group is at 8 a.m., the second at noon, at the St. Louis Police Academy, 315 South Tucker Boulevard. Sobe Bay, KTRS News.
More than a dozen bills regulating AI content are in danger of stalling in the Missouri General Assembly. State lawmakers are considering 16 bills that would place new rules on AI content, but neither chamber has approved any of the legislation. A suspect is in custody in connection with the fatal shooting of an employee at a North County Steak and Shake.
20-year-old Jada Bell is charged on multiple counts, including first-degree murder and first-degree assault in the shooting that claimed the life of 32-year-old Chauncea Meekins and injured another employee. Police say Meekins and her co-worker were working the drive-thru at the Steak and Shake on Bell Fountain Road on the night of April 8th when they became involved in an argument with Bell. At one point, police say Bell allegedly threw a drink cup at Meekins, who then threw the cup back at Bell. That's when Bell allegedly pulled out a gun and fired several shots at employees. Meekins died at the scene and her co-worker was shot in the hand. Bell is being held on a $1 million only cash bond. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
And the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum will mark a major milestone this week when it welcomes its 100th visitor since opening its doors in November of 2022. On Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock, students from Rogers Middle School in Afton will be recognized at a ceremony that organizers say pays tribute to the role that students and educators play in carrying forward the museum's mission of Holocaust education and remembrance. This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist. This week is Professional Administrators Week, and Walter Knoll Florist makes it easy to say thanks with flowers. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. A local Golden Corral is set to close. On the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton, it will close on April the 30th. The restaurant, though, does have 3 other locations in the metro area: St. Louis County, O'Fallon, and Shiloh. Now the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune into Straight Talk and Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. At close, the Dow down 292 points at 49,149, NASDAQ down 144 at 24,259, and the S&P 500 down 45 at 7,064. Now let's check in with Paul for KTRS Sports and Traffic.
The Cardinals play Miami again tonight in South Florida after having their 5-game winning streak snapped with a 5-3 loss to the Marlins last night. Redbird hitters struck out 13 times in defeat. And Mizzou football is hiring Deshaun Lawrence to be the new director of player and recruiting engagement. Lawrence is leaving a similar role he held at Central Florida. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. We have an accident on 70 West at Salisbury with a stop-and-go back up to North Broadway. 64 East is jammed from Jefferson across the Poplar Street Bridge. That's where there's road work with lane closures from the bridge to Barack Obama Avenue. 64 West is congested from Kings Highway to McCausland and from 364 to the 6470 interchange. 270 South congested from Olive down to 44. 44 East is heavy from Grand to the Poplar Street Bridge after an earlier crash. In Illinois, 64 East is jammed from 255 to 157 due to road work with lane closures. And 70 West is bumper to bumper from Exchange to the Musial Bridge. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rockwood School District. Are you looking for a new part-time or full-time job opportunity? Consider Rockwood School District with openings for custodians, cafeteria workers, and groundskeepers with great benefits, competitive pay, pay and flexible hours. Apply online at rsdmo.org/jobs. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our forecast calls for mostly clear skies tonight and overnight low in the upper 50s. Sunny tomorrow with an afternoon high around 80. At 9 minutes past 5 o'clock, we have sunshine, 82 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit
In
Dr.
certain aspects,
Bowen
it was very
for Simply
successful.
Secure
it was
Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer, and April is Donate Life Month. KTRS is a proud partner with Mid-America Transplant. You may have questions about organ donation. I sure did. Like, will doctors do everything they can to still save my life? Yes. Your medical team's job is always to save you. Donation is only considered after every life-saving effort has failed. Or you might wonder, like I did, am I too old or unhealthy to be a donor? Not at all. People in their 80s or 90s, or even those with some medical conditions, may be able to donate. Here in our region, more than 1,400 people are waiting for a life-saving transplant. Nationwide, it's more than 100,000. One donor can save 8 lives and help heal dozens more. Registering takes just 2 minutes, and it gives hope to people who don't have time to wait. I did it. Learn the facts, talk to your family, and sign up today at sayyesgivelife.org. That's sayyesgivelife.org.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Melissa Price-Smith is in her second year as St. Louis County prosecuting attorney. She's joined us to discuss a new, innovative traffic diversion program. It's great to see you, and we should say congratulations because you've already got somebody in that Steak and Shake murder, which was awful.
It was awful. First of all, thank you for inviting me back. And yes, there was an arrest and charges on the awful, senseless Steak and Shake murder. Those charges were issued yesterday. And the St. Louis County Police Crimes Against Persons Unit were relentless, and they never gave up. And a woman named Jada Bell was arrested yesterday, and we charged her with murder in the first degree, armed criminal action, assault first, and unlawful use of a weapon.
I gotta say, and I know this is awful, I was surprised that it was a woman. In a random kind of shooting like that, I was a little surprised.
Yeah, it does shock you. And she was only 20 years old, which in my eyes is a baby.
It is a baby.
So when you, in this position, and you've worked in this office way longer than you've ever been the head of it, is it man versus woman? Does it go down the line? Are there inexplicable things that you see, or are you not surprised by anything anymore?
First of all, right, I'm not surprised by anything anymore. But yeah, I've been in the office 19 years. I've only been leading the office for the last year. But just when you think you've seen everything, we see the worst of humanity, but we also see the bravest people in terms of victims who come forward and use their voice and regain their power.
Yeah. How do you feel your office has done combating violent crime in the last year and a half?
I am so proud of what our office has done. The attorneys in our office, the support staff, the investigators, the victim advocates, we have done so much this last year. I'm so proud of it. We reinstated a violent crime unit on day one. We created a homicide unit. We recruited 4 veteran attorneys from the U.S. Attorney's Office to lead our homicide unit and train our young attorneys. Our sexual assault child abuse unit, we expanded. It's now called Special Victims because now it includes elder abuse under that same umbrella. We have a great domestic violence team. We started a hospital violence unit, which was so very, very important.
And tell us how that works. What do they actually do?
So basically, I had a case a couple years ago of two incredible women. One was a nurse and one was an EMT who were assaulted horribly in the emergency room at DePaul. And one of these women educated me while I was working on the case with her about the amount of violence that healthcare workers are. I mean, there are about 55% of healthcare workers report being assaulted.
And they can't fight back.
They can't fight back, and there's been this idea over the years that it's a job hazard, that they should, suck it up. If you're caring for people, that's part of it. So when I learned about how prevalent assault on healthcare workers is, we created a hospital violence unit. We have met with our police departments. Previously, maybe they weren't taking reports because our office really wasn't issuing a lot of hospital violence cases. So we've met with police officers. They now take reports, and we hold people accountable who assault healthcare workers. I know it's a time where people lose patience. They get, they lose their patience when they're waiting in a waiting room. They get upset when their family members are sick, but they can't assault healthcare workers.
No, they're our heroes.
They are our heroes. They work so hard. So now we have a specialized unit that holds those people accountable who think it's okay to assault a healthcare worker.
Yeah.
So it just occurred to me, and I don't know why, we have issues with recruiting and retaining police officers and that sort of thing. Is that something in your office that is a challenge because lawyers can make a lot of money doing other things, and so getting great attorneys and keeping them, is that an issue?
A prosecutor's office is a great place to come and to go to court right away and to learn about being in trial and get trial experience. So people might think of the prosecutor's office as a good way to get court experience and then take it somewhere else. I am confident we are not that office anymore. We are building an office. First of all, the people we've recruited are mostly veteran prosecutors who came back to us, but we are also very intentional and very thoughtful about our new attorneys. Who we hire, why they want to be a prosecutor, where their heart is. Not only do they want to keep violent offenders off the streets, but we want people who also want to be a part of the community and be a part of the solution. I was talking to a high school today, and I told them, I said, if you want to be a prosecutor, you're never going to be rich, but you're never going to be sorry, because it is an opportunity to make a big change.
Right.
Your counterpart in the city, Gabe Gore,
yes,
got a lot of press when he took over for Kim Gardner. He's doing good work in the city. Last time we had you in, you guys talked about having a very good relationship. As county prosecutor, or in his job, I guess he'd be county prosecutor for the city of St. Louis. Are you in a courtroom, or are you running the office? What is the split?
Yes and yes. So before I took over the office, I was on the sexual assault team, and I carried a caseload of about 150 cases. When I took over the office and formed the new executive staff, we all felt that it was very important that all of us on the executive staff keep some sort of caseload. Is it the 150 cases I used to have? Absolutely not. But we all do carry a caseload, because I think it's very important for all of us to, because we all came from the courtroom, for us all to still be in the courtroom and to still be there with our 75 plus assistant prosecuting attorneys and still doing the same work together every day.
We were constantly on the edge. You mentioned even starting that homicide unit. I think it's shocking to a lot of people that there wasn't one prior to that. What were you surprised by when you got into office a year and a half ago?
Well, I had been there a long time. We have had specialized teams, a domestic violence team, sexual assault team, but we did not have a dedicated homicide unit. You know what I think surprised me the most and really warmed my heart was, and I know I've already said this, the veteran prosecutors who were eager to come back and eager to take our office to the next level.
Just a passion.
The passion to come back and to be a part of it. And I learned a lot from Bob McCullough. I learned a lot from Wesley Bell, but the eagerness of all of us in the office to work together and build on it and make this a higher level prosecutor's office. We have done so much work this past year to really make it high level, increase our relationship with police, and to also increase our relationship with the community. And we are out in the community constantly, either talking to high schools or neighborhood watch or town halls, because it's not my office. It's our office. It's the community's office. So we are out there not only talking, but listening and seeing what people want and need from us.
So you are the prosecutor.
Yes.
And Gabe Gore is the one in the city.
Yes.
You guys see people after the fact. We've got a crime problem in St. Louis, or we have a crime perception problem. How do you guys factor into lowering the crime rate, getting more people more comfortable in going downtown and going out at night and going to events and not fearing for their safety?
We have a big role, and I will tell you, when I was doing the sexual assault cases all those years, I worked in a vacuum. I worked on my cases only. Now that I've had the opportunity to step back and be in this role, our office, the prosecutor's office, I realize we have an opportunity to be a part of the solution. And in doing that, we have met with so many community partners about how can we help people in the community? How can we help young people who might be right on the verge of maybe making a bad decision and getting in the system? And that's one of the reasons that we speak to high schools. When we speak to high schools, it is not hi, I'm a prosecutor, this is what I do, everybody goes to sleep. We don't do that. We have some very real conversations. And the best thing about it, when we talk about real cases and real situations with them, they start talking to us. And we get some great questions. We also get, sadly, but it's good, we also talk a lot about victims and the power of the voice. We actually get a lot of victims who come forward when we speak in those situations. But the more we're out in the community, being a part of the solution, talking to young people, talking about alternatives, talking about anger, talking about guns, all of those things, and having the real discussions, the prosecutor's office, we can be a very strong prosecutor's office that holds violent offenders accountable. By the time they get to us as a homicide defendant, a defendant who's committed a rape, we can't help anymore. But if we are out there in the community working with people, working with young people, we can be a part of the solution. And we're working really, really hard to do that.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you're doing with this infraction diversion program. Tell us about that.
So this is an infraction diversion program. This helps people take care of old traffic tickets. We have 6,000 plus. Yesterday, the first set of letters went out to people letting them know they had old tickets. Now, when they get this letter, they can complete a class, a certified class. Once they complete it, they don't have a fine. They're not going to get any points on their license. Then their insurance isn't going to go up. It really is a way to help people in the community take care of old tickets. Some people have multiple, and it prioritizes education over fines, over any kind of punitive fine. Now, this is for low-level infractions. It's not going to be a DWI, a leaving the scene, going 100 miles an hour in a 30, anybody with a CDL. But there are so many traffic tickets out there that, that have piled up, and people have them in their past, wonder what's going on. It also allows our prosecutors to focus on serious things.
I like that. We're talking to Melissa Price-Smith, St. Louis County prosecuting attorney. I mean, I really do think the infraction diversion program is a great one. And you say it is more than just avoiding a fine.
It absolutely is. It's a certified educational program. And then they don't have the fine, they don't have the points, but they're actually learning something. And the other thing that I find so cool about it, I said 250 mailings went out yesterday, and they're going to go out monthly. The individuals doing the mailings work for Valley Industries. They are people with disabilities who are doing these mailings. And we're planning a visit to go out and visit them and thank them coming up. And I am so grateful to them to doing this important work. And I love that they're the ones who are doing it.
Wow.
The county prosecutor, it's an elected position. And you are running again. You took over 2 years ago when Wesley Bell left, but now this is your first election. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It sounds awful running for a position. But when you run for this, like any other politician, there sometimes are term limits. Are there term limits in the county prosecutor's office?
There are not. As you know, the man who hired me, Bob McCullough, I believe it was at 28 years. He was in office. Yeah. So, no, I was appointed by the governor a year and a half ago to complete Wesley Bell's term when he went to Congress. But in order to keep doing this work, I have to run. And the primary is in August. I'm so proud of the work we're doing. I want to keep doing it. And I just know that even though we've done so much, we're just getting started. And I hope to get the opportunity to keep doing it.
So if you're going to run on, let's say, 3 principles, combat violent crime, what would be some of the other, bring more trust to the prosecutor's office?
The first one would be holding violent offenders accountable. Second one, without a doubt, is we're a victim-centered office and giving victims a voice and empowering victims to know that we are a safe place to disclose. As we all know, for every victim that comes forward, there's another 100 who never say a word. So, and then the third would be First of all, we are taking a stronger stance on gun crimes. We've got to take control of these gun crimes. Everybody, you know what? I know everybody has a right to a gun.
Absolutely.
I know that. But we are taking a stronger stance on individuals who commit crimes with guns. We are no longer giving straight probation. We currently have 270 pending homicides in our office. And I don't feel that we can sit around and wonder why we have so many if we are giving our future trigger pullers a little slap on the wrist and straight probation. Are they going to prison forever if it's a 19-year-old who's pointed a gun but hasn't done anything with it? No, but they're going to sit down for a minute. We're sending a message. And then the next goal principle is community outreach, community outreach, community outreach to gain trust and work in partnership with the community, working in partnership with law enforcement and the community together. Because like I said, it's not my office, it's our office, it's the community's office.
Melissa, how many of those cases, and you might not be able to tell us this, are people that had a legal permit to have a gun or was a legal gun to begin with?
You mean the ones that are charged with crimes with gun? That I don't know. We know if we saw somebody walking outside with a gun, we call the police. There's nothing they could do. But it's the people who commit any crime with a gun. There's often been a trend in prosecutors' offices to always give probation on first-time offenses. That's fine in certain kinds of cases. But any crime committed with a firearm, whether you're just exhibiting, pointing a gun at somebody in a threatening manner, shooting from a car or into a house, even if you don't hit anybody, or if you're a felon who possesses a firearm and you shouldn't, we have to take a stronger stance on our gun crimes if we want to get a hold of our homicide rate, if we want to get a hold of these violent crimes.
So what's the process in sentencing recommendations? You're the prosecutors. You go before a judge. How does that process work in the county?
Well, we work very closely with defense attorneys and we work closely with public defenders. And I want to go on record saying that I have a lot of respect for defense attorneys. When I have a case, no matter how gruesome, I want to know there's a really good defense attorney on the other side because I trust our system. And I know that that's the only way it works. So when one of our prosecutors has a case, any kind of case, a case with a gun or any kind of a case, they review the case, they review the evidence, and they talk through a recommendation for a possible plea. It's always up to the defendant if they want to take a plea deal or if they ultimately want to go to trial. So we have various different recommendations depending on the kind of case.
What's the most frustrating part of the job?
That I have to run for election.
Okay, take that. That's a great answer.
Yes.
But take that out of it. Is it the laws on the books that you have to work around? Is it the political side of it?
Well, I'm a prosecutor. I'm not a politician. I'm grateful to my campaign team for paving the way for me because it is such a different language to me, the whole political world. I would say, and even when I was an assistant prosecutor, we could always use more prosecutors. We have 75 prosecutors. Every prosecutor in my office carries a caseload of 150 to 200 cases at a time. And, you know, that's hard, especially when you're working on victim cases. I used to wake up in the middle of the night panicked that I'm not giving enough victims enough attention. So just being able to have, if we could have more prosecutors, you know, right now there's also budget issues in the county. If we could have more prosecutors to give our victims even more attention and to move our cases through the system more quickly, for a case to move through the system more quickly, it benefits everyone. It benefits the defendant and their family. It gives the victim closure. It benefits the courts. So that is something I would love if we could have more.
You know, the state stepped in when the city was having all of its problems. Could they come in and give you guys more money to hire more prosecutors?
You know, I don't see that happening right now. As everyone knows, there's a budget issue in the county. Our budget was cut. All departments' budgets were cut, and our 98% of our budget is salaries. So we, we had to eliminate 2 positions. A lot of our attorneys are taking on double work, maybe working in treatment courts as well as working in regular courts, because we are very, very determined not to make any difference in public safety or not to hurt public safety or for the community not to feel any of this. But it is I guess that would be, if I could suddenly change one thing, would be to be able to have more prosecutors so we could give our victims and individual cases more attention and move them more quickly through the system.
As the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney, how many cases do you carry, or you just kind of oversee everything now?
I oversee everything now, but right now I have a caseload of about 15. And like I said, I think it's important for our executive staff to keep a caseload.
To know what's kind of happening in the real world?
Just to still be in the courtroom. And, I still want to try cases. I can't try it at the rate I did before because there's a lot to do in this role. Honestly, my heart is still with the sexual assault and child abuse cases. So the cases I have kept actually are all those type of cases.
I've always wondered, after watching SVU, what do you do to unwind after your head has been in the middle of these most horrific, situations the whole time? How do you wipe that out?
It's really interesting that you asked that. Years ago, when people would ask me if the cases affected me, for some reason, I always thought I should say no. I don't know if it was a woman thing or a tough girl thing.
Right.
And I've learned over the last several years, it's okay to say, oh, yeah, sometime it messes with me really badly. I do a lot of yoga.
That's good.
I drink wine, sometime more than the other. Honestly, but I'll tell you, yoga is the safety net of my life. That helps me a lot, a whole lot.
We have a listener, Ed, who says, I'm curious how you would describe your management style.
That's a great question. Yeah. I have a lot of respect for everybody in our office, whether they be support staff, investigator, advocate, attorney. It's a very open door policy. I want to hear. We have a lot of smart people there. I want to hear their suggestions. I want to hear their criticisms. We have an executive staff. There's about 10 of us. We meet 3 times a week. We also have team leaders for our trial teams, but it's also an open door policy. We are all in this together. And when I stepped forward and threw my hat in the ring to take Wesley Bell's place, I know I've said this many times. I don't feel that I stepped forward. I feel that we stepped forward. And in talking with my colleagues, we all knew what we wanted in a new leader. So it's not my office, it's our office. I feel that we are doing this together. And so it's an open door policy, and I'm very open to their suggestions because there's some smartest thing I've done is surround myself with smart people. And there's some really smart people.
Right?
And listen. Yeah.
So this is St. Louis County. Chances are there probably won't be a Republican contender for this office or a real threat from the Republican side. Primaries in August. Who's your challenger?
His name is David Bryant. Nice guy. He's an attorney. I am the most
Have you met him?
I've met him. Yeah.
Have you run into him throughout the years?
I've known him for years. Yeah, he's a very nice person. I am confident in saying this. I'm the most qualified for this job. I've been in the office 19 years. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I know the people. I know the police. I know the judges. I know how to work with victims. I've won many, many jury trials. I also know what it's like to sit with victims after losing a trial. I am proud of what we've done this last year, and I want to keep doing it. I love St. Louis County. I grew up in St. Louis County. I raised my kids in St. Louis County. And maybe this is selfish reasons. I really want my kids to want to stay in St. Louis County. I want their friends to want to stay here. And because of that, I have to keep St. Louis County safe through my office. I have to make it safe so businesses come here, so families come here, so people want to live here. And if part of that is selfish, so I can get my own kids to want to live here, that's okay.
You know what? We will let you be selfish on that one because I'm with you. I want my niece and nephew to come back as well. Melissa Price-Smith, you've done an incredible job in the first year and a half.
Thank
and best
you.
of luck. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Diana from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
Heard a great story about the window store the other day. Larry Thornton, the owner of the window store, 314-739-0002 or wswindow.net, told me a story. He had a customer call him up and say that he wanted to replace his white vinyl windows with darker windows. And so, of course, Larry took care of him. So now they're all darker and sort of brown in color. Looks beautiful. They're energy efficient. There was no upselling. They're great quality windows, and Larry Thornton and the window store took care of him. That's what he does. The price is extremely reasonable, better than the national companies because there aren't the layers of middle management. The window store has been around for 38 plus years. Proud sponsor here at the Big 550 KTRS. Windows, and don't forget about doors. Doors can get really expensive real fast. That's why you want to go with a company you can trust. Installation, price, selection, quality. The window store. Window store. wswindow.net. 314-739-0002. wswindow.net.
Hallmark Stone is a wholesale fabricator of quartz and granite countertops. They normally only sell to kitchen and bath shops, home stores, remodelers, and builders. But once a year, they open their doors to the general public to benefit Annie's Hope and Carney's Kids charities. This Saturday and Sunday is that weekend. It's the 23rd annual Remnant Sale, where you can buy quartz and granite remnants at up to 50% off retail pricing. Remnants are great for vanity tops, islands, fireplace surrounds, bar tops, and more. David Sherwood and Anne-Marie Boges will be broadcasting live on Saturday from 11 to 1. So come by and say hello. Hallmark Stone, located of I-44 at the Soccer Park exit. For directions, call 636-349-1288. Or better yet, check out their website at hallmarkstone.com. Enjoy extreme savings while benefiting local charities. What a great combination. Stop by Hallmark Stone's 23rd annual Remnant Sale this Saturday and Sunday. For more information, visit hallmarkstone.com.
If it's time to replace your windows and doors, choose Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis. Pella's trusted local experts work in your area and within your budget, backed by the most preferred window and door brand by homeowners. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details. Study of homeowner perceptions of leading national brands. Study commissioned by Pella 2023.
Home equity loans are home everything loans at Neighbors Credit Union. Home improvements, vacations, education, even debt consolidation. Anything and everything you have planned can be made easier with my friends at Neighbors Credit Union. With the flexibility of a home equity line of credit at Neighbors Credit Union, you can enjoy a great introductory rate for the first 12 months. The possibilities are endless. Stop by one of the 8 area locations or apply online at neighborscu.org.
Equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 509288. Call 800-325-2697 for complete account and cost details.
It's Jill Farmer. Medicare is overwhelming. Parts, plans, deadlines. It's a lot. That's why so many of you turn to Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man. Ryan breaks Medicare down in plain English, helps you compare options, and make sure you're not overpaying or undercovered. No pressure, no confusion, just clear guidance from someone who actually cares. If you're turning 65, already on Medicare, or helping a parent navigate it all, start with someone you can trust. For the right plan, call a Medicare man. 314-368-6808, MedicareManSTL.com.
For all of your travel needs, you go to the best travel agency in the world. Granted, I'm a little biased. Altair Travel and Cruises. They'll take you wherever you want to go in style. They'll handle all the details. You handle all the fun. Don't go to the Googles. Don't make that mistake. It all starts at Altair Travel and Cruises on Brentwood Boulevard, 314-968-9600. Anywhere you want to go, let Altair Travel take you. AltairTravel.com.
Frank Cusimano and Jill Farmer, weekdays 10 to noon, right here on KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
Time is flying. It is 5:37. Time to get another check of traffic.
Heidi, the latest is an accident on 70 East at West Florissant, blocking the 2 left lanes with a bumper-to-bumper backup to Kings Highway. Estimated clearance time is 6:15. There's a crash on 270 North at 64. It's blocking the 2 right lanes with traffic backed up to Doherty Ferry. Estimated clearance time there is 5:55. 64 East is stop and go from Jefferson across the Poplar Street Bridge. That's where there's road work with lane closures from the bridge to Barack Obama Avenue. 270 South congested from Olive down to Manchester. 44 East is heavy from Jefferson past the merge with 55. 64 West congested from Kings Highway to McCausland. And in Illinois, 64 East is running slow from 255 to 157 due to road work. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Did you guys see this hot air balloon pilot in Southern California is being celebrated as a hero, but especially for his quick thinking? He had to make an emergency landing in someone's backyard. All 13 passengers were thankfully uninjured. The homeowner told the local news, I opened the sliding glass door and there's a basket full of 13 people in my backyard. The pilot was masterful. He got it right down directly into the backyard. The balloon didn't catch on anything. That is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever see those stories where like a plane, like a personal plane, will have to emergency land on the highway or something?
Yep. So scary. And, more times than not, everybody's okay.
And you've done hot air balloons.
I've been up 2 or 3 times.
Bob, have you ever done it? I mean, it seems romantic, but I think once it starts going up, I might have a panic.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll go.
No, you're not. No?
I would go again in a heartbeat. It is so fantastic. You can hear everything. If somebody's sitting on their patio, I don't care how high up you are, you can hear them talking. You can hear like the screen door slam. You can hear dogs barking.
The sound waves just go up.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it'd be romantic. You get a little picnic or some champagne. But there's always that guy there the whole time.
I was going to say, did you hear me say that there were 13 people?
13 people.
In that basket. It's not that big.
Big gondola.
Over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler, it's where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
Invest in your future today at Royal Banks of Missouri. With a variety of personal savings, money market, and certificate of deposit account options, their team will guide you to reach your short and long-term financial goals. They also offer individual retirement accounts to help you plan for your life's next chapter. Call 314-212-1500 or visit a branch to find the right account for you and watch your savings grow. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Every day another adventure. Our greatest discoveries come when we stop searching. Beneath the endless sky, away from the stress of work, the answer to the ancient Zen mystery, the sound of one hand clapping. Take a trip in an RV from Byerly in Eureka.
For the rest of your life, you gotta be there. Byerly RV.
With over 30 years of experience in top-quality senior living, McKnight Place Assisted Living knows how to help its residents live fulfilling lives. The professional staff gets to know all residents and their families. McKnight Place Assisted Living has become known for its high-quality amenities, personalized services, and expert care. But its history of making people a priority is what really sets it apart from many other senior communities. That starts with the residents and extends to their loved ones. 314-993-3333 or visit them at mcknightplace.com. When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
Hallmark Stone is a wholesale fabricator of quartz and granite countertops. They normally only sell to kitchen and bath shops, home stores, remodelers, and builders. But once a year, they open their doors to the general public to benefit Annie's Hope and Carney's Kids charities. This Saturday and Sunday is that weekend. It's the 23rd annual Remnant Sale, where you can buy quartz and granite remnants at up to 50% off retail pricing. Remnants are great for vanity tops, islands, fireplace surrounds, bar tops, and more. David Sherwood and Anne-Marie Boges will be broadcasting live on Saturday from 11 to 1. So come by and say hello. Hallmark Stone, located of I-44 at the Soccer Park exit. For directions, call 636-349-1288. Or better yet, check out their website at hallmarkstone.com. Enjoy extreme savings while benefiting local charities. What a great combination. Stop by Hallmark Stone's 23rd annual Remnant Sale this Saturday and Sunday. For more information, visit hallmarkstone.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, it's time to do a little entertainment news. I told you yesterday, Madonna surprised the audience at Coachella on Friday when she joined Sabrina Carpenter on stage to perform a few songs together. For the performance, Madonna, who performed at Coachella 20 years ago, wore vintage pieces from her personal collection that included a corset, jacket, gloves, tights. She said this full circle moment hit different until I discovered that the vintage pieces that I wore are now missing. She went to Instagram and added my costume that was pulled from my personal archives. These aren't just clothes, they are part of my history. She said other archival items from the same era also went missing. She said she's offering a reward for the safe return of the missing items.
Did she mention the cone bra?
She did not mention it. She did not wear that at Coachella.
Yeah, it's because it's probably missing.
Well,
good riddance.
The Vogue video, what? It's iconic.
Yeah.
For boys of a certain age. Hulu's Paradise is adding another Emmy winner to its cast. Juliana Margulies will join the post-apocalyptic drama for season 3. Are you guys watching it? I hear it's fantastic. Anyway, the former ER Good Wife star's first series work since a run on seasons 2 and 3 of The Morning Show on Apple, which was really good. So, per the usual with Paradise and other shows from creator Dan Fogelman, details about the role she will be playing are being kept in a library deep into a mountain. He is so tight-lipped with his shows. Last week, reports came out that Christina Applegate had been hospitalized since the end of March. It's unclear why, but we know she's battling MS. Well, she shared an update yesterday thanking everyone for the, quote, outpouring of love and well wishes. She said, health issues are a constant for me, but I'm a strong chick and I'm getting stronger and better every day. I'm taking a moment to focus on my health. I'll be back with more to say soon enough. Her message was paired with an image of coffee mug with the words kissy kissy on it on top of her memoir, You with the Sad Eyes. It's unclear if she's still hospitalized or at home. Speaking of memoirs, Meryl Streep says her life is too boring for a memoir and has no interest in writing it. But I don't think there's anything boring about Meryl Streep. Can you imagine?
Just stories from the set.
Alone.
Yep.
That would be all of it. Or,
Yep.
or all of the speeches that she's had to write and give because she's won so many awards. Jelly Roll is currently training to do a New York City marathon in November. He wants to lose 40 or 50 more pounds, cut his loose skin, and pose shirtless for a magazine cover.
Oh,
It's a challenge.
Yeah. It is a challenge.
Well, they, with The Biggest Loser, that show, they do say that you have to cut away some of the skin.
Depending
stretched
on.
out.
Yeah. As far as TV tonight, you got the NBA playoffs there on NBC and Peacock. The series premiere of Bear Grylls is Running Wild. That's on Fox, and he is, of course, he always takes celebrities on a 48-hour adventure. His first guest, Matthew McConaughey, which I would say he's not going to struggle at all. They're going to be, I guess, in Norway, hitting up a glacier, so that'll be interesting.
All right.
Tonight's TV schedule also includes the NCIS shows. Let's do a couple birthdays.
All right, here we go. NFL analyst, you may remember him as a Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Tony Romo.
Tony, I think he does a fantastic
He's very good.
job. I'm going to say he's 42.
Oh, man. 45?
46. You get that one, Josh. Here's a guy that our listeners may not know by name, but I'll give you a little help. His name is Rob Riggle, former Marine Lieutenant Colonel. He was in Step Brothers. He played Gil Thorpe, Phil's real estate nemesis on Modern Family.
He does a lot of stuff with NFL on Fox.
Yes.
Yeah, he was hilarious in The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. Rob Riggle is how old?
And you said he was a Marine.
Lieutenant Colonel in the
Yeah,
Marines.
I'm going to say he's 57.
53.
56. Heidi got that one. This is a close battle. Margaret Qualley's mom. You know her as Andy McDowell.
Yes.
Yeah. I like Andy McDowell.
I like Margaret Qualley.
71.
68.
Bang, got it. Way to go. So you got to have one more shot.
Yep.
Heidi, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Tony on Taxi and on Who's the Boss and on the Tony Danza show. Tony Danza, Heidi, is how old?
Do you think it's in his contract?
72. That he has to be called Tony.
I can't remember any other names.
He's also part of Tony.
Yeah, right.
The band.
Angela. 75.
What'd you say?
72.
It's Josh's night. 75. Bang, got it.
Dang. That is your evening entertainment report on the Big 550 KTRS.
Tune in Mondays to the Frank and Jill Show for Success St. Louis style as they feature a St. Louis in making a difference in our community. Brought to you by the St. Louis Chess Club. Building champions in the classroom and the community. Online at stlouischessclub.org.
I've been asked to say a word about Allen Roofing. That's not fair. I can't say it in a word. If they just did roofs, I probably could. I would say roofs. But they can do siding. They could replace it. They could put leaf guards on. They could reattach it like they had to do for me, where my gutter kind of came away from the house. Siding issues, they carry James Hardy, the very best. They can fix that too. Basically, if it's something you could see from the outside of your home or your office, they can fix it, improve it, or replace it. Look, it's probably the biggest investment you're ever going to make. Protect it. Absolutely. And nobody does it better than Allen Roofing. Check out all the reviews online. Everybody else seems to know. I shouldn't have to tell you these things. For all of your roofing needs and so much more, Allen Roofing. Find them online at aroofing.net.
How would you like your vehicle serviced at your own home or office? Our new Mobile Service Plus, available exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac, can do just that. Hi, this is Joe Clemens. Simply give us a call or go to our website and get a unit dispatched right to your doorstep. This is a game changer for customer service, and we are so happy to offer it to you. Everything from oil changes, belts, new tires, tire rotation, recalls, key fobs, brake pads and rotors, EV charge, battery replacement, air conditioning service, and so much more. St. Paul's Mobile Service Plus will come to you. Call our mobile dispatch at 636-931-0055. That's 636-931-0055. Or go to our website at stpaulcadillac.com and set up an appointment. It's that simple. Get door-to-door service with St. Paul's new Mobile Service Plus. Nothing could be easier. Set up your appointment today. That's Mobile Service Plus, exclusively from St. Paul Cadillac at the Herculaneum Auto Mall exit.
Farmers and ranchers, when it's time to buy or sell ag equipment, think Purple Wave Auction. We're your go-to online marketplace for tractors, combines, sprayers, and more. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Experience the Purple Wave difference. Nationwide reach with a local touch. Purple Wave Auction. Whether you're expanding your operation or streamlining your fleet, we've got you covered. Visit purplewave.com today. Fuel your farm with Purple Wave Auction.
A single flood can cost you nearly $60,000. In the St. Louis region, if it rains where you live, it can flood where you live. MSD Project Clear wants you to know your zone. Knowing your flood zone means you can act early, protect your property, and avoid devastating losses. Don't wait until it's too late. Only flood insurance covers flood damage. Visit knowyourzone.org now.
Meet me at the Village Bar. Ready for the world's best cheeseburger, homemade onion rings, trashed wings? It's the Village Bar for food and sports. Cards, Blues, Mizzou, NFL, the game's always on. Open 7 days a week in De Pere. Grab your friends, grab a cold beer. We'll see you at the Village Bar.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
7 minutes before 6 o'clock. Let's get one final check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, an accident on 70 East at West Florissant is blocking the two left lanes with a bumper-to-bumper back up to Lucas and Hunt. Estimated clearance time is 6:15. 64 East is stop and go from Jefferson, where there's a crash across the Poplar Street Bridge. That's where there's road work with lane closures from the bridge to Barack Obama Avenue. 270 South is congested from 64 to Manchester. 44 East is heavy from Jefferson past the merge with 55. 64 West crowded from Kings Highway to McCausland. 64 East slows down briefly at 170. And in Illinois, 64 East is running slow from 255 to 157 due to road work. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rack House in Cottleville. Stop by for brunch or happy hour, or have the Rack House cater your next event with box lunches or buffets to accommodate groups of 10 to 200 people. The Rack House, featuring a seasonal menu and upscale casual dining and drinks since 2014. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. The one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpet sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
Repairing chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone, you need a tuck pointer you can trust, and that, of course, is Morelli. Morelli's a family-run business started in 1991, and they're only as good as their last customer. That's why when you check out the reviews online at MorelliTuckPointing.com, you'll notice that they're actual customers who are singing the praises of Morelli. So if you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
All right, let's wrap this show up with a couple randoms.
All right, croissants are not from France. They're from Austria.
Okay.
The modern-day French version didn't come until the 1900s. And fortune cookies are not served in China.
What?
They originated from cookies made by Japanese immigrants to America in the early 20th century.
I did not know that.
Look at what you learn
That's
listening
good
to this
stuff.
show day in and day out. You guys, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you had as much fun as we did, and hopefully you'll meet us back here tomorrow starting at 3 o'clock. Until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
Whatever gets you through the night.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing